Chambers to contend for the USL Cup will go head-to-head here in the capital of California as FC Cincinnati will take on the Sacramento Republic in a preseason friendly brought to you by UC Davis Children's Hospital. We welcome you to Bonnie Field, the home of the 2014 USL Champion Republic. Alongside Kevin Goldthwait, I'm Rob McAllister. Tonight we're featuring two clubs who finished the 2016 season in the top three in their respective conferences, but early in 2017, both looking to find their way after an offseason of dramatic player movement, Kevin.
Yeah, dramatic player movement is right, Rob. Both teams losing their top scorer in the previous year, and preseason's all about finding that next person that can step up and score goals.
But familiar faces around as well. Harrison Delbridge, one that we got to know very well in 2014, played center back for the Republic in that championship year.
Right, back in Sacramento for the first time and really starting to hit his stride. All-league selection last year. Let's see if he can repeat that performance this year and keep rolling as he's been doing.
Well, how about for Sacramento? They're going to be keeping an eye on a guy now in the Old Glory Red, was someone they were trying to stop the last few years in Tulsa, and Sammy Ochoa.
Yeah, back to goal type striker. Hopefully he's got a proven track record of scoring goals. Needs to continue doing that for Sacramento this tonight in the season.
Well, let's take a look at your U.S. Bank starting lineups, and we'll begin with Cincinnati in the 11 here, and a couple of changes throughout their midfield and the striker position. One that really strikes me is GB Fall, big-time player in that true number 9 position.
Another guy, Corbin Bone, keep your eye out. All things will probably be going through him. Most of the playmaking, everything. He's a guy that can make people better around him, so keep an eye on Corbin Bone tonight.
Well, how about Sacramento? Let's look at their starting 11. Alex Davey, Julius James, two names we have not seen in Republic uniform yet.
Yeah, another guy, Adam Moffett, box-to-box type midfielder, really hard-nosed. Look to see him have a big impact on the game tonight, Rob.
Well, it's a cool 59 degrees here in Sacramento. The wind gusting 15 miles an hour, but not keeping the fans away from this one. They're excited to see their Republic for the first time this season. It's in the preseason, but they're going to take a big match ahead. Republic, Cincinnati coming up.
Well, our employees are very important to us, and healthcare is very important to them.
Through all the changes in the laws and the programs, Western Health Advantage has allowed us to maintain that level of comfort for our employees and for the company.
The real advantage of Western Health Advantage is the fact that the costs were lower and the plan was flexible, so we provide good coverage for our employees.
Like road signs, my words are true. They bring me slowly back.
I missed you.
Did you bring new ones?
You work hard for more than just you.
You went to Montana.
I did.
Working together, we'll help you save for her future geology degree. Wells Fargo.
just minutes away from kickoff here between FC Cincinnati and Sacramento. Before we do that, let's take a look at tonight's head coaches. In his first season with FCC, Alan Koch, who spent the last 2 years with Vancouver, will lead the orange and blue tonight after John Hartz was let go just 2 weeks ago. And Koch hoping to replicate Hart's success in year one. For Sacramento, back for his third season, it's Paul Buckle.
Yeah, Paul, this is really his team finally, Rob. He's kind of had some of Precky's leftovers for the last couple of years, but this is officially Paul Buckle's team right now.
Well, a couple of storylines that we'll be following tonight is two teams that arguably may be the most popular in the USL, in Sacramento and Cincinnati, shattering attendance records, and it's led to some pretty good things for the league overall.
Right, and probably, like you mentioned, most likely one of the big reasons why the USL has been upgraded to the D2 level for U.S. soccer. So it's a great thing to see these two clubs here tonight playing against each other.
And how about the Republic? Got a new offensive attack. Trevin Caesar, Sammy Ochoa, Tyler Blackwood, all new guys. Even go back to Nisha, who was added late last year. You've got four formidable strikers.
Yeah, like in camp right now, heavy striker load right now. You're trying to replace Kamawasa. 12 goals last year. 20% of the goals came from Kamawasa last year. So Paul's obviously trying to figure out a way to fill those shoes and get some goals this year.
Well, he's got some pretty impressive speed with Caesar up top, and you got Ochoa. Let's see what Tyler Blackwood could do tonight. Arizona United, 26 appearances, 8 goals a season ago. Don't forget about the Englishman who played at South Florida. And when we look one more time at Cincinnati, we talked about replacing players. How do they replace Sean Oakley, who scored 16, was a Golden Boot winner, and now is with NYCFC and MLS.
Right, MVP as well last year, and really going to be important to see if they can fill his shoes. Yeah, really important to see if they can fill their shoes. Samuel Oakley going to be very difficult for Cincy. But you know what? Go out there and see what you can do. This is what preseason is all about, trying to find replacements, and hopefully Cincy can find that replacement tonight.
There we have it. Breezy night, but it should be a beautiful night. No rain in the forecast, so it's one thing that we can at least expect to see is that you'll play as one without raindrops falling from up above. Our tonight referee is Victor Rivas. We've had him here quite a few times at Bonnie Field. He'll be in the blue shirt tonight, trying to keep things calm. Sacramento will be wearing their alternate white kits tonight. Meanwhile, it will be FC Cincinnati in their alternate black kit that they just unveiled today at a local pub in Cincinnati. So a great image for both these clubs. They've got these beautiful alternative uniforms. It's a preseason friendly. Kevin, soccer is back, and here we are in 2017, ready to kick off this USL season. You've got a couple of things you still got to figure out on both sides of the ball here if you're Cincinnati and you're Sacramento. Let's start with Sacramento. What are you looking for them here tonight?
Yeah, so the Sacramento, what they really need to do right now, but keys to the game is they got to continue to grow. It's an evolutionary process through any preseason. You've had 3 or 4 games already. Finally, this is your first real test here against a quality side in Cincy, at home, at Bonnie Field. Very important for them to continue to grow brick by brick by brick. Also, who's going to fill Kamawasa's shoes? We've talked about it all this pregame right now. 20% of the goals last year, 12 goals that Cam had a season ago. Who's going to step up? Is it going to be Sammy Ochoa? Is it going to be Trevin Caesar? Is it going to be a guy like maybe Adam Moffett? Somebody needs to step up and contribute goals for this Republic team. And lastly, I'll preach this till the day I die. Defend, defend, defend. Right now, there's a bit of a shift in Sacramento's back four with the loss of a few key players. Chris Christian, namely one of those guys. We got Clementa coming back from that knee injury. So you got to have a solid back four that you can build upon and continue to get better. So for me, one of the most important foundational sort of pieces to any team is a back four that does not concede goals. And tonight's a great opportunity to really prove yourself if you're the Republic.
And if you're Cincinnati in this situation, here you are in a preseason match on the road again. You had some times in Florida, but for you, what are you looking for? I mean,
Well, I mean, the goal for any team right now is this is where I think in preseason where you really start to push players. You want them to, it's no longer a 45-minute shift or 30-minute shifts that you're coming in and putting into pieces throughout a course of a preseason game. You're going to want these guys to get at least 60 minutes in and hopefully continue to grow and push to get those fitness and get those minutes in so you can compete for a 90-minute match. And that's really what I think both teams are really going to start to focus on here tonight.
And we are underway in Sacramento alongside Kevin Goldthwait. I'm Rob McAllister. Sacramento heading to your left, Cincinnati heading to the right, and it is Evan Newton in that fluorescent green keeper kit here. Is Evan Newton, 14 appearances, allowed 13 goals, 41 saves, took over for Dominic Jakubek halfway through the year, had a fantastic second half of the season. So it'll be interesting to see what Evan Newton and company can do, especially with a different front line in front of him. The only person he's used to seeing is James Kiffey here in this situation. And Kiffey now wearing 15 this season, but he's got Julius James, Alex Davey, and Elliot Horde on that right side, as Emmer Clemente is still trying to get back to full form here. We might see Clemente tonight, but no guarantees after suffering an injury last season.
Yeah, coming off that ACL injury, I think the doctor's orders right now is probably to only have him play in matches, probably one game a week. He got a little bit of run against Sac State earlier in the week, but right now let's see what if and when he does come in tonight, how long he'll play for. It'll be interesting to follow that storyline as well. But it is pretty much a new back four, and that's just a poor giveaway right there by Cincy. Well picked up by Mr. Barrera, the captain for Sacramento, and let's see him reset the ball and get everyone up, clear their lines as Evan Newton clears the ball at the field.
And Wiedemann applying a little bit of pressure up top. Here's Jeremy Hall. He switched to number 22 this year, or 28 in the last 10 games or so. Caesar making a good run. Here's Blackwood. Blackwood, Arizona, a season ago, had 8 goals, as we mentioned earlier in the pregame show. And here's Julius James. Well, Julius James sends one this up in the crowd. The crowd loves it. But how about James? 9 years of NASL MLS experience. Played at Fort Lauderdale last year. Was been with Carolina, Toronto, Houston, DC, Columbus. I know Julius is someone you know very well.
Yeah, one of the guys that we, growing up in college, we played together quite a bit. He was at UConn, I was at Notre Dame. So back in those days, it was the Big East Conference. So Julius was an absolute force back with UConn from 2004 to probably 2007. Has a lot of MLS experience, has a lot of professional games under his belt, so somewhat veteran sort of player, strong, hard-nosed defender, is actually really savvy and smart with the ball and without the ball, and hopefully he can continue to have that. Dom Jakubek
took one off the noggin there.
Dom saves it even when he doesn't need to save the ball. He's saving things. But Julius is a guy, I think his veteran leadership, the addition of him and in the addition of a guy like Adam Moffett, hundreds of games between the two of them professionally that have been added to this team here, and two good locker room presence type guys. So interesting decisions by Graham Smith and Paul Buckle bringing those two players in, and I think it's going to be lead to nothing but good things for Sacramento having those two guys in the lineup.
Cincinnati trying to poke it through. I mean, you talked about Adam Moffett, and here's a guy who played the Cosmos the last couple of seasons, had 8 goals a year ago, but he'll be sitting in the midfield here. But here's a player that seems to be very versatile, can play in the back, can play up front, and really he's almost an insurance policy for any position you tend to get a little thin on. Yeah,
I mean, he can technically play in that back role.
And here's Blackwood into the attacking third. Through the wicket, tripped up by Harrison Delbridge. No whistle blows, and Paul Buckle is furious and will let the sideline official, Eric Earhart, know about it.
That's well done. It's really well done by Blackwood right there. Getting his head down, taking on Harrison Delbridge, puts it through his legs a little bit. Unlucky not to get the foul, to be honest. Kind of agree with Paul Buckle in that situation, as Blackwood does go down right outside the 18-yard box. Well done by Horde there, covering.
Davis. What a great sign he was late in the year when Clemente went down. They had some huge issues at that right back position. Moving forward here is Aiden Quinn. Aiden Quinn. Now it's tipped up by Moffett. Still in dangerous territory. Cincinnati trying to make a play, and Jeremy Hall heads it back.
Yeah, smart play, savvy play there by Jeremy Hall. But going back to Moffett, what I think he's going to bring to the table, him coupled with Jeremy Hall in the middle. Jeremy's probably going to be more of that anchor, but Adam's got the ability to get box to box, front to back, hard nose, will get stuck in on many tackles, which is one of my favorite things about Adam is he never will ever shy away from a tackle, and he's got that veteran leadership out there and slows things down when it needs to be slowed down, speeds things up when it needs to be sped up. Just one of those players that's a good person to have on the ball. Have a strike.
And here's a good try, and hip check. Delbridge just gets back just in time. Trevin Caesar with a good run and looking for Mitch Hildebrand.
Yeah, well done there by Caesar. I think that's what he's going to bring to the table for Sacramento. He's going to be able to stretch the field with his pace, and I think Sacramento needs to utilize that as much as they can. As last year, I think they got a bit easy to defend in some capacity, very predictable at times, but you add a guy like Trevin Caesar in there, he kind of just is a wild card or an ace in the hole, so to speak, as Danny Barrera strikes the corner kick here.
Here's Barrera looking over the mouth of the goal. It's good. Strike on it was Adam Moffett from just outside the box, about 25 yards, and Mitch Hildebrand comes up with a save.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Adam Moffett brings. Adam Moffett brings outside of the box presence and has scored quite a banger of goals, to be honest here, Rob, from outside the box through his career in MLS and at NASL. And that's what he brings right there. I don't think he gets the cleanest of strikes on the ball, but he's in the right place at the right time on that corner kick and finds himself up there. And when he does find himself in that situation, the ball bouncing towards him, not afraid to have a strike.
So Adam Moffett with a good look, but Mitch Hildebrand, you can make the argument the best goalkeeper in the USL was made to the Year League first team after playing 30 games last year for Cincinnati, and quite a run for him. Kept opponents under .866 goals a game. Again, 72 saves. He was simply fantastic. Led the league in minutes at 2,600. So a guy who is going to be a key part of FC Cincinnati again. And here comes Sacramento moving forward. Cincinnati has gotten to the attacking third a few times. They haven't been able to do much with it. Sacramento's had 2 good looks so far.
The game's still kind of settling down.
But you're right, you talked about Trevin Caesar. Now, we saw him with Orange County, and he was quite a speedster. I don't think Sacramento's ever had someone as fast and as pacey as Trevin Caesar.
Yeah, not up top, definitely. I mean, he's a guy that we were talking about a minute ago. Really can stretch the field, and it adds that unpredictableness or unpredictability for Sacramento, where I think, like I said before, sometimes they just become predictable. Very well, they do a very good job of possessing the ball, Sacramento does, but sometimes it's good to mix things up and dump balls into the channels. And then when you get a pacey guy like Caesar up top.
Here's a good switch by FC Cincinnati, and it is Fall who comes in with a handball deep in the box, and it'll be Sacramento's
I think it's
chance.
a really smart signing, a really smart pickup by Graham Smith and Paul Buckle to get that sort of player up top that has that explosive speed. And when in doubt, when there's issues in the back, when you do have to clip balls in the corner to clear your lines, you got an asset up top in Trevin Caesar who can chase balls down and be a nuisance for the back four, when typically in situations last year you didn't have that pace up top, and those balls were simply just turnovers. And sometimes those balls that are lumped into the corner or lumped in the channel, for lack of a better word, he's a guy that can turn that into a positive possession potentially.
So Caesar, 26 appearances, 10 goals for Orange County, led the club, who defeated Sacramento here in the first round of the playoffs and went to penalty kicks. Played for Austin before that, San Antonio for a couple of years. So,
and I like that pairing up top with Ochoa as well. Ochoa is not the most mobile of strikers, kind of back to goal really.
Goes up high as Moffett, sending it back as Davey, and Fall will give chase.
And you pair that with a pacey guy. Oh, and look, if you watch Trevin Caesar too, he's always on that last defender, always looking on his front studs to get in behind. See, there's a good ball. Let's see where.
Giving chases.
Yeah, Ochoa there chasing it down. You know, the difference between Ochoa and Caesar right there is pretty evident with the pace. But an interesting pairing. You got the yin and yang of strikers, right? You got the pacey forward and Trevin Caesar, and then the back to goal, less pacey, less mobile Ochoa in there as well. And hopefully they can pair up and mirror each other in certain situations and connect well, and that's really what you ultimately want.
Well, Ochoa's got some size, and he's not afraid to be physical, which, as you know, there's a lot of strikers who don't want to be physical. Ochoa is not that player. He's going to try to push you. He's going to make it a little bit difficult. I think as you played, for those who don't know MLS for 7-8 years, you don't want a physical striker, right?
No.
That's like your worst nightmare.
It just makes the day that much more difficult.
Very good.
When you have a striker that's always pressing, always pushing.
And here's the Republic now pushing forward. Caesar's in the middle. Here's Horde. He's going to dink it up, looking for Blackwood.
And that's going to be one of the situations right there where I think Ochoa needs to be a little bit better. He's got to be able to get himself, find himself in the box. You get the ball back to goal at midfield, play it wide, but you got to bust. You got to bust your hump, get in the box, and try to get involved in that cross. And you saw where Ochoa was. He's at least 5 or 10 yards outside the 18-yard box in that situation. And you want that strike. You want both your strikers in the box challenging. It's a good tackle by Jeremy Hall right there. And I think that's where Ochoa probably could be a little bit better. Maybe his fitness isn't there yet, being preseason.
Here's Kippy trying to force it through, and he gets to Kenny Walker. Kenny Walker, a valuable piece for FC Cincinnati. 27 appearances, but he's a player that has been called upon to serve as a veteran leader in that locker room. He played at Galaxy, was sent on a loan for a couple of years. So big-time player, and Kenny Walker for FC Cincinnati. They'll call on him again here in 2017.
Yeah, played a lot of minutes last year.
If you're FC Cincinnati here, you had a dream inaugural season. You know, there was a lot of soccer clubs that did not work out in Cincinnati for years, and there was a lot of doubt, could this club work out? And as you pair up with the crowd and the attendance they got, and then the success on the field, they didn't translate into the playoffs, but we know how that can work out. And here you are again in 2017. Expectations are even higher, and now you're also a city and a club vying for MLS. I mean, it was 2 years ago. You weren't even on the soccer map.
No, they weren't even on the radar at all. And then they come in and make just absolute huge strides and big noise in the culture of U.S. soccer and the landscape of U.S. soccer last year. It was great to see the attendance numbers they had and the passion and support they had from their fans in the city. And really, I think the next step for them is how do you take it to the next level? How do you get better? How do you become more efficient? How do you become more involved in the culture and the landscape of U.S. soccer? And once again, Traven Caesar offside. But you know what? As a striker and a guy like Traven Caesar, I'm okay with seeing him offside 3 or 4 times a game. However, I think he's been 3 or 4 times in the last 5 minutes, maybe a little bit too much. But that's what you want from this player, man. Pushing the boundary. You want the other thing that always creates as a defender. Say Harrison Delbridge, for example. Now he's seen Ochoa is always on his back shoulder, always on that final defender to the last defender. Just makes a back four worry for a half a second more about where Caesar is at all times, which really opens things up. You wouldn't think that half second makes that big of a difference, but it really does in terms of the course of a game. If they're having to worry about him, or if Traven Caesar is chasing a guy like Delbridge down, making it difficult for him to play out of the back, you know, those are the things that a guy like Caesar brings to the table. But since he definitely, I think, needs to build upon what happened last year and build upon that momentum, and hopefully the city's got a bright future with soccer heavily involved.
Well, they've got
in that city.
They've got a couple of key guys back as well. Let's see if they can replace the goal scoring from Oakley, but they're hoping that GB Fall will be one of those players, and he hasn't seen much.
It's well done by
tonight.
That's well done by Sacramento building out right there. Good possession. And the announcer's curse, obviously, as we bring that up, lose the ball, bring it back. But that's fine. It's good build up out of the back. And I think those are the little pieces of the game, too, during preseason matches that you put on video and film, and you show the guys, like, this is the correct way to build out of the back. Good possession, good 1 and 2 touch soccer building out. Just got to connect and see if you can translate that from the middle third of the field in that final third and continue to keep the ball and move it quickly.
Here's Hall directing traffic. Now, what kind of leadership role will you see from Jeremy Hall this year? I mean, we saw him step in, and he was a club favorite. His ball set up top, looking for Ochoa. Ochoa making a run against Delbridge. And Ochoa will turn his back, look for some help, won't find it, and stays with it and controls the ball and finds back to Julius James. Julius James looking to push forward. Moffitt, Hall, here's Ochoa off to the left side. Kippy's got some room now. Pushing forward, good ball, cross it over. Delbridge able to recover. Moffitt takes him down, and Blackwood's got an opportunity. It's poked away from behind by Walker, and just has to send it out of play smartly. It'll be a throw for Sacramento.
That's well done by Adam Moffitt, kind of turning that situation where, since he's getting ready to clear the ball, I think Delbridge is getting ready to wind up. But Adam's hard work, blue-collar mentality, kind of keeps the ball in that final third, able to be picked up by Blackwood. Unfortunately, his first touch was just a little bit too heavy and couldn't get a shot off. But well done by Adam Moffitt, keeping the ball in that final third.
And the kind of picks up a foul against James.
Yeah, silly foul there by James. Doesn't need to go to or go in so aggressively. Can calm down just a little bit.
cool nights. I know you had opportunities in the preseason. MLS just starting this weekend. What was it like for you as a player to play in preseason? I mean, there's an opportunity that you're trying to win a job. If you feel like you have the job, is there you feeling that you could possibly lose it? I mean, where did you stand as a player mentally in this?
Yeah, every player is different. Myself, I was one of those guys. I was always worried I was going to lose my job or was fighting to get a job. So at times the preseason also goes in phases. You have, your first couple weeks is like a heavy fitness sort of regimen where a lot of running with the ball, a lot of running without the ball, and then you slowly go into a little bit more possession, tactical type situations, and then you get to the point where we are today, where you start to realize that jobs are won and lost in these coming weeks, where the hay's in the barn, so to speak. Everyone's fit. Everyone's work on the same sort of a level playing field. You do have players coming in and out still, with trialists coming, trialists going. But this is a point where it really matters for players to come out and perform well when they're given that opportunity. This point forward, going on for the next 3 weeks for players, is where you win your jobs.
Well, Alex Davey and Julius James, trialists for Sacramento tonight, so no official contract has been signed for the two center backs in play for the Republic. Well, keep up to date with the USL all season long by visiting the new USLsoccer.com for everything you need to know about the USL and its teams. Sacramento taking back the possession for a moment. FC Cincinnati trying to get something going here on this side of the field. They've been running backwards for most of it. Here's Fall, a little heavy on the touch. Scooping through, here's Moffitt. And Moffitt is just a little bit of a masher in there. You're going to love his physicality here. This one set in low, and Julius James sends it to the back of the net. It'll be a corner for FC.
Poor clearance there by Julius James. Probably needs to work his feet a little bit, maybe some heavy legs right now. But Adam Moffitt, if you liked Ivan Mirkovic over the years, if you're a diehard Sacramento fan, Ivan Mirkovic is one of those hard-nosed bulldog-type center holding midfielders. I think Adam Moffitt brings that same sort of tenacity, but can get forward a lot better than Ivan can.
Here is Aiden Quinn. Strikes it with a left foot, sweeping cross into the box and punch it away. It was Evan Newton, nicely defended by the Republic on that corner.
Yeah, well done by Mr. Newton, coming out through some traffic, getting his fist on the ball, clearing the line. Sacramento retains possession. Well defended there. Great ball.
There's Travis Caesar showing his pace. The crowd is into it. FC Cincinnati trying to get back. Caesar cuts back. Here's Ochoa. He whiffs on it. One more opportunity, and it's hopped into the arms of Mitch Hildebrandt.
That's a great ball from Alex Davey and a great run by Caesar. Caesar does a great job. Pulls it, makes that run, pulls it back, tries to find Ochoa, but it was a little bit heavy. I think Caesar's ball back, if Ochoa's looking to hit that one time, needs to be a little bit softer, a little bit lighter. Ochoa maybe should have made a decision, take a touch and have a strike. Goes for the one touch, slides off, kind of slices off his right foot, finds Blackwood. Blackwood takes a strike. Not a problem for Hildebrandt at all. Collects the ball nicely, Cincy, but well done. A good little break there by Sacramento. Good little display of possession, and just a poor ball back there by Cincy.
So Harrison Delbridge has been busy tonight, and we talked about him in the pregame. He's back here in Sacramento as part of the 2014 team, and had a chance to talk to him this week, and he just said, I feel like I'm starting to really understand the game. It's coming easier to me, and that's got to be a good sign for a center back, especially at his age. You feel like he's probably starting to come into his own, and he's 24 years of age. The next year or two are going to be very critical for him if he wants to take that next leap.
No, this is the right time if you're a player to start peaking and figuring things out as he says he has. And it kind of comes with the territory. If you've played well enough and gotten some minutes in, it's a tough foul. It's kind of silly there by Moffitt.
Draw a whistle against Adam Moffitt.
That's one thing I think Adam could be a little bit better. Sometimes I think he gets ahead of himself and maybe a little bit too aggressive on certain tackles when he can work his feet a little bit better, or maybe he doesn't need to go in for the challenge at times, and he does. But at the same time, you can't fault a guy for going in and getting his nose stuck in too often, and that's what Adam does. But Delbridge, I think going back to that conversation, is a guy right now that you need the confidence. And when you have that confidence, things come a lot easier. And I think in his past, where he's bounced around from a couple of clubs, you start to lose confidence and lose faith in yourself. But when you find a home, like he has in Cincy, it's a really comfortable feeling, and then you could just grow and allow yourself to open up and explore all the potential that you have. And I think that's what you're seeing with Delbridge right now.
Well, it'll be Aiden Quinn. And the whistle blows. Look back the backside for Fall, and it's going to go towards Fall, and it's going to be Evan Newton, and the whistle blows.
It's called a penalty
against the Republic, and they say there was held
He's called a penalty.
Lava holding on to Harrison Delbridge, and it's going to be a penalty kick for the FC Cincinnati. So the visitors with a big opportunity after a set piece that didn't go anywhere. Played well by Evan Newton, but a silly foul, and now a great opportunity for FC Cincinnati to put one in the books here.
Well, yeah, I feel like the referees nowadays, or at least in the last 6 months or 12 months, are becoming much, much more strict with off-the-ball stuff on set pieces, like as we just saw right there. Rivas obviously sees something. It looked like it was Harrison Delbridge being held, maybe by Moffitt. I'm not exactly sure who was from the Republic committed the crime, committed the foul. It's a penalty nonetheless, and probably a bit soft in my mind with this situation. But like I said, referees have been a lot more aware of off-the-ball stuff on set pieces. As you see, Quinn stepping up here with his left peg, trying to put one by Mr. Newton.
Aiden Quinn, 5 goals for Louisville City. And he sends this one to the back of the net, and it's 1-0 FC Cincinnati here in this preseason friendly in Sacramento.
Yeah, good penalty there. Good penalty by Quinn. Picks his spot, hits it hard, hits it high enough so it's difficult for Evan Newton to reach. Good penalty, but one of those phantom sort of calls that you're still unsure and unaware of who actually committed the crime, but it looks like the signal that Rivas gave after that penalty was called, it looks like Sacramento was holding and grabbing and infringing upon Harrison Delbridge's his run into the box.
It was a clean strike by Quinn, no doubt about it. And 24 years of age. Here's another player. We talk about that sweet spot. That seems to be about the age that you feel that players may be starting to feel they've really got to start putting it together in these key situations. And if you're not, you're probably not going to get that call up. So Aiden Quinn, with a big strike there on the penalty kick. And it's 1-0 FC Cincinnati here.
Yeah, and I think against the run of play really too, Rob. Sacramento's had the first 20 minutes or so. I think I've had the majority of the play. And that's the way it's been. That's the way it was last year too for Sacramento, Rob. We saw it often where they had the run of the play, majority possession, a couple half chances here and there. And then a quick counterattack, a quick set piece, and all of a sudden you're staring at a 1-0 deficit, trying to climb a mountain.
Well, and that's something FC Cincinnati was very good at last year, was picking up these penalty kicks and an opportunity. And here's taken away. Kenny Walker now moving forward. He's got GB to his right, going to his left, and poked away by Julius James. But FC Cincinnati still one more time, and look at it. They'll settle it down. Here is Wiedemann. And a strike off to the right, and Republic defended well that time. But again, FC Cincinnati was able to pick up fouls in the box, able to set them up for themselves some PKs, and that's how you had your top goal scorer, and locally for them last year picked up quite a few that way.
Yeah, so easy goals for strikers to score. And that little possession right there, just a poor giveaway in the midfield for Sacramento. Jeremy Hall, maybe too many touches, a little heavy touch. I'll tell you what, Julius James does a nice job coming across, covering, intercepts the pass. But since he's in the right place, picking up second balls and is able to get a strike off, just off target. But a good little counterattack by Cincy right there.
That's a matchup I like watching right now. You like GB and James right now as two good players.
Two physical players.
Yeah. Strong. And both with some pedigree. They both have had some experience. It's been GB overseas. He's played in Russia, Finland, Belgium, Germany, a total of 8 different countries. He signed with Cincinnati here in the offseason. And here's Julius James, 9 years of NASL MLS experience. So two guys who have got almost a decade of experience, and they know how to play out here.
Yeah, it always fascinates me, where these leagues, where they find their players, and seeing these storylines. And all a player can ask for is a chance to come out there and get a run and try to score some goals. And I think that's what you're going to see with a guy like GB Fall, where he's been all over the world, has a lot of experience, a lot of games under his belt. But can he consistently score goals?
Nice move from Barrera. Here's Caesar. Caesar looking for anybody, and sends it right back to FC Cincinnati, and turns it around as GB again.
Tough ball for Caesar to try to bring down. Would have liked to see him bring that down.
I've been impressed so far with Tyler Blackwood, though. He seems to be in the right place at the right time. He showed some good pace early on here. Be interesting to see what he can do in this match. He might be the one to break through for Sacramento.
Yeah, he's got those long strides. Long and tall, slender frame, but good at taking players on 1v1. As we saw earlier when he took on Harrison Delbridge, put it between his legs, and probably unfortunate not to get a foul outside the box.
Yeah, we don't talk too much about height, but last year's team didn't have a lot of height, and that tended to hurt them on set pieces when you didn't really have guys who could go up and get the ball. I think this year that's been rectified a little bit here for 2017. Putting pressure is Corbin Bone. Little backflip from Ochoa, can't find Caesar. Now comes James punching up, and there's Adam Moffett. Adam Moffett taken down, doesn't get the call, and finally the whistle blows against Quinn.
It's no quit. There's no quit in Moffett, which I'm really excited for Sacramento to see this player and his heart and his desire and like what the game means to him. Just totally blue collar. There's no quit in his game whatsoever.
And he's a proven champion. Won the MLS Cup in 2012 with Houston. I mean, I don't think you could ask for more than that. No guy, someone that you could depend on in the locker room that's going to be able to say, guys, here's how you get it done.
No, he's a great presence in the locker room. Kind of calm things down, like you mentioned earlier. He's a guy that can calm things down when needed and can pick things up when needed.
Nike's a proud part of the USL, the Sacramento Republic FC. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. Here's Cincinnati looking for an opportunity. Little switch.
The good ball.
Left side, McLaughlin. McLaughlin's going to send it right back over. And looking again for Wiedemann. Wiedemann's had a couple of looks here tonight, deep in the box. Defended nicely by Alex Davey. Alex Davey, a trialist. He's been in the Chelsea Academy program since the age of 10 years old, and he's been loaned out to League One, League Two teams. Last 4 seasons by Chelsea.
Yeah, looking to find a home, looking at a place where he can contribute.
Here's Murray Blackwood. Can he get through? And it's Bader who able to clear it first. Here's Jeremy Hall. But Alex Davey, what do you expect from him tonight? I mean, there's not even much practice time for him.
No, it's tough for him to come in pretty much right off the plane and get minutes. But, you know, what's surprising, too, is you know, Mike DeFont on the bench tonight, not suited up. Don't know if he's picked up an injury. I know there's been speculation on what his future holds, so just kind of interesting to see if he did pick up an injury in training or if some news is imminent in the next coming weeks. But be another storyline for Sacramento with their back four and how thin they are right now after losing a few guys.
So
Chris Christian, Carlos Rodriguez this week goes down with an ankle injury or a broken ankle, has surgery. So right now, I think if you're Paul Buckle and you're Graham Smith, you're probably on the phone in communication with people trying to find some backup or some solutions to the thinness in the back.
But an update on Christian. A lot of people have been asking what's going on. Is he coming back? He had a great year. You could say he was maybe the best player on the Republic last season.
Very consistent last year,
Very consistent in that center back position, but it has been talked that he's been given a chance to look for other opportunities, and he wants to do that in Europe and see if he can make a stance there. And so,
yeah, we wish all the best for Chris Christian. I think he's over in Portugal right now, and who knows, maybe eventually someday down the road we might see him back in Sacramento wearing a Republic shirt again. But very thin in the back for Sacramento, so I think honestly in the next week, 2-3 weeks, I would expect some transactions and some movement player-wise with additions to that back four.
And so Kiffy really the only member left right now from 2014. Emre Clemente still coming back from that injury, so we're not quite sure how much we'll see him tonight, if at all. That ACL tear that we saw here take place at Bonnie Field. And from the moment that injury occurred, we knew it was bad news for Emre Clemente, but still a very young, promising player for this Republic team, and someone who you could see in MLS uniform very soon. He's got to get back healthy. Here's FC Cincinnati trying to make something happen. Davey lets it float a little too long there, dangerously. And now it's Ochoa back to his goal again, and he just seems to be able to clear some space. And Carlton Cole was able to do that for Republic a year ago, but now moving forward here is FC Cincinnati trying to find GB. Here's Caesar.
Well done by Caesar.
The lightning pace of Caesar. Here's Ochoa. Blackwood to the left, looking for Blackwood. Finds through the hole. Can he get there in time? Now he's near the end line. Throws it back over the mouth for the goal.
That's a great run, great build out. A good ball from Adam Moffett into Caesar's feet. Caesar does a great job bringing the ball down, finds Ochoa just circling in behind him as that number 9 striker, and you got Blackwood flying down the left flank, and the ball just a little bit too heavy from Sammy Ochoa, but it's a great run by Blackwood and great vision there by Ochoa to see him kind of cutting right behind. It looked like it might have been Austin Berry, just a little bit too heavy as Blackwood takes that touch and tries to put the ball back across the face of the goal looking for Caesar. Unfortunate for Sacramento for no one to be trailing, but a good breakout and a good little counterattack by Sacramento right there, Rob.
Well, we talk about new faces for Sacramento at the center back position. Meanwhile, Cincinnati's bringing back their guys, Delbridge and Berry, who played together 19 times a season ago. So that's a pairing that seems to be working, and now you've got even more games under your belt heading into 2017. That's a good sign for FC Cincinnati.
Yeah. For Cincinnati, that's a great sign. We always talk about, Rob, the partnerships and pairings all over the field, and the center back pairing, honestly, in my opinion, I'm a bit biased, but I feel like that's one of the most important pairings to have. Those two players need to have an understanding of when to press, when to cover.
Here's Kippy moving forward, cuts it back through. He's in the middle of the park now, finding Ochoa. Ochoa has it swiped away for a moment. Caesar back to Ochoa.
I got Horde on the right flank, wide open there. It's good. Well done by Julius there. But pairings all over the field. You get your striker pairings, you get your center mids, you got your two central defenders, you have your outside back and your flank, your winger player. I mean, pairings are all over the pitch, and the center back pairing right there. If you've got a solid pairing that's played many games together, I mean, that's what Sacramento's looking for right now, some sort of partnership, and that's not an easy thing to create and to find, in my opinion. And so it's going to be interesting for Sacramento, one, to see what the future holds and who's going to be that center back pairing. But for Cincy, with Berry and Delbridge, they're two proven players with both of them good track records, good pedigree. Another Julius James kind of errant pass. But the pairing for Cincy in the back right now, if you're a Cincy fan, I think you should be pretty excited and pretty happy with what you have right now.
So Austin Berry, 3 goals a season ago, too. He was loaned to South Korean club in 2015 from Philadelphia. So
he had an interesting last 2 years for Berry, where he was essentially almost held up back east in the MLS in some capacity. Wanted out, couldn't get out. Finally was able to get let out of his contract, but it ended up being to South Korea. He lasted there 6 or 12 months or so, and then found his way back to Cincy. So I think it's a big coup for Cincy at the end of the day.
Well, it showed a lot of promise. He was drafted 9th overall in 2012 out of Louisville, 2-time All-American. I mean, a player who's played in a pretty big conference. It's a very solid program, and you know, here's an American player that had a lot of promise. It just hadn't really been able to get the minutes that he was seeking out of college. Yeah,
and I tell you what, I think it's a big positive and big win for Cincinnati. I've seen Cincinnati to have a player with his caliber in, holding down the fort with a guy like Harrison Delbridge.
Blackwood will go up to get it, and it will be Boehner who gets to it. And now here's Kippy in the corner. His favorite left foot, the strong here, cuts it back in. He's gotten so good at that back post.
Ball just took a funny bounce. Ball just took a funny bounce on Kiffy there as he cut it back onto his right foot.
Players there first.
Elliot Hordes there, your other outside back, flying up that right side, is able to find that back post, make it difficult for FC Cincinnati, and earns a corner kick out of it.
There's the first good corner kick on the night. Trevin Caesar coming hard and fast to assist, maybe trying to confuse FC Cincinnati here. Left foot, hooks it in, looking for James. James can't get to it, and it sails out of play, and Rivas will say it's a goal kick for FC Cincinnati.
That's a pretty good look there for Julius James right there. He's looking to the referee, maybe asking for a foul. But it might have been Austin Berry was D'ing him up. But I think that's a pretty good look for Julius James. He got up really well, just mistimes his header there, but a good ball in from Danny Barrera, well driven. Hard driven ball, 10-12 feet off the ground. Good composure from Sacramento right now.
The way wind continues to blow here from the south, and it tends to be the case here as the river is just the south here, but much, much higher than we've seen here in the last 5 years. And it has been a rainy and snowy year in Northern California, one of the wettest on record in 100 years. So it's been quite a challenge for the field here as well. As Kevin, you've been out here time, it was literally underwater. I mean, we've never seen that. There's been issues of trying to keep it dry enough. This ball comes out of play. Boehner's hoping for a whistle, telling everyone to slow it down and take a breather here. But here's a field that's been in incredible condition. But the grounds crew here, unfortunately, had to just sit here and let this thing soak. There was literally a couple of inches of water on top of the grass.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's a lot of sand on the field right now, especially in the middle of the park where the ball is right now. But I tell you what, it looks a lot better than it did 2 or 3 weeks ago. So kudos to the ground crew for getting the shape it is. And then as time goes, as time goes, this might be really good news for the field and the pitch in 2 to 3 months as the weather dries up. But really, I mean, kudos to the ground crew for great ball.
Here, look, tap and go here. Deep in the box, looking in the middle of Caesar now. Caesar settles it. Here comes Hall, and right into the gut of Hildebrand. A good strike from Jeremy Hall. A rare sight at the least from number 22, but there he is, a good strike on it. And now your two defensive midfielders have gotten good looks tonight, just couldn't convert.
That's a good decision right there by Jeremy Hall, using the inside of his foot rather than the laces. I think a lot of times you'll see a player in that situation look to drive the ball with their laces, and it's a difficult ball to come back. It's like offside right here. But Jeremy Hall elects to use that inside of the foot, and you can hit it hard enough. Use the momentum that's coming back to you as the ball's coming back to you. Don't need to swing hard. And I think Jeremy does a good job. Just unfortunate for him as it went right to Hildebrand in the goal. So, and well collected, well positioned for Hildebrand, but a good decision, a good little build-up play right there for Sacramento also.
Tyler Polak has been very active on that left side here tonight. Does not be able to break through himself. But FC Cincinnati has scored a goal. A penalty called, sent for a PK. And it was Aiden Quinn who punched it home. That came in the first 18 minutes of play here at Bonnie Field. As Harrison Delbridge drew the foul against Adam Moffitt, it appears. And then punched it home to the right side of the goal box, and that is the difference maker here in this preseason friendly between FC Cincinnati and Sacramento. Alongside Kevin Goldthwait, I'm Rob McAllister. We'll be with you once again all here season long on this Republic YouTube stream. You can always find us no matter where you are. Looking for Caesar again. Austin Berry able to cut it off. Sprays it out to the left against Polak. It's interesting to see what Cincinnati's trying to do offensively. As we talked a lot about Sacramento trying to insert in from the wings. Cincinnati, we really haven't seen a clear vision of what they're trying to do here. And if you talk to Alan Koch, he says they try to play possession with a little bit of flair. They want to control it, make some hard, crisp passes, get something work, see if we can get something on the sides or even up through the middle. We haven't seen much of it though.
No, I think Sacramento, it's more of a product of Sacramento having the majority of the ball here. Good ball by Adam Moffitt.
Here's Moffitt's ready for Blackwood. A good Blackwood showing his pace. He'll chase it down with Boehner. Boehner will become the market, holding on to Blackwood. Blackwood finding Ochoa. Ochoa lets it slip through, but comes up is Moffitt. And Republic will retain possession here. There's Blackwood. Down to Kiffey. Kiffey. Delbridge gets ahead to it. Republic trying to settle it down, and Moffitt has to send it backward. And GB now is trying to get out there and fly a little bit, showing his pace. And GB single-handedly just thwarted a second opportunity for Sacramento there.
It's a good chance for a ball behind the back, as since he's playing pretty high right now.
Down goes Davey, and the whistle comes in late.
There's the ball.
And that's the one thing that Jeremy Hall probably does better than anyone here in the Republic, is switch it from side to side. Changes the dynamic of the attack in a matter of one swoop.
Yeah, you'll see Adam Moffitt can hit that ball as well with both feet. Similar to Jeremy Hall, a la Roro, what we saw for years. Good ball in behind right now.
Horn moving forward. Delbridge with a tackle, and the last touched
That's fortunate, and that's fortunate for
Elliot Horde there.
It looked like it came back off Horde. Horde's had a couple balls in behind right there. He needs to do better with his services in the box. I think the last two times he's in behind, his final pass lets him down a little bit. He's got good runners in the box. Needs to be better in those situations. Elliot Horde does.
Crowd stomping their feet here. Tower Bridge Battalion trying to cheer on the boys here. Get something moving. Some contact in the box. The whistle blows and stops. And it's Caesar and it's Aiden Quinn.
So this is, Rob, this is an opportunity or a chance right now. Obviously, we got Rivas is being pretty particular in watching and calling it close game in the box and set pieces. So already called a penalty earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be another situation, almost a make all things equal sort of call for Rivas. But there's going to be pushing, there's going to be grabbing, and let's see how consistent Rivas can be with that as this game goes on, because there's going to be more chances, there's going to be more set pieces.
Well, here's Danny Barrera to take the corner. Davey is active. It's going to be James, and now to the foot of Hall. Hall tries to get back to Moffitt quickly, and now on the run comes FC Cincinnati, and it's Quinn.
Good chance for Cincy to break here.
And Corbin Bone goes down. Whistle not blown, and James wants it thrown in quickly, and now a little dangerous plays. Corbin Bone quick to attack. And Corbin Bone will play that holding midfielder. You know, he's stuck in that midfield position at times, but then you'll see him out fly the wings every once in a while. He's not afraid to spring ahead. I think that's what makes FC Cincinnati so dangerous. They've got a lot of guys who can do a lot of different things.
Yeah, and you have if you have those sort of players in those sort of situations that you can create with other players understanding and knowing what it means when you got your midfielder, a guy a la Corbin Bone.
Fancy footwork from Davey here. But you're right, you got Bone, you got a guy like Walker and Quinn and Wiedemann in the midfield. That's a very strong midfield.
But on the flip side, you have to have players that can recognize. It's a great ball right there. I tell you what, Alex Davey right now impressed me so far in the first 40 minutes.
So
defensively.
And we'll get back to your comments here on the defensive mid-save. Here's Kiffey, lofts one in closely near the near post, and Barrera saying last touch by FC Cincinnati. Won't get the call. It'll be Hildebrand with the goal kick.
Yeah, Alex Davies looked pretty good here.
So you're talking about defensively. So you got guys who will move forward and coming back. But we've seen with the Republican years past, when you're back two, the center backs, even back four at this point, are stronger. You feel like you have more liberties to move ahead.
Well, yeah, even if you have other people that can organize and be the person that recognizes when you do have someone leaving their position, who's going to step in and allow that to happen, who's going to fill that void that's left, so you don't become and get left exposed if there is a break, if there is a counterattack as those players are out of position. That's where it really translates, is if you have the ability and players that can go forward, but you need people to back that up and be responsible enough to know when to stay home and know when to grab other people to bring them back in different positions.
Great ball by Ochoa, finding Blackwood. Blackwood's going to give it a go, and it's Hildebrand again with another save. It's 73 in 2016, and he's added to his total here in the preseason and showing why he has been one of the best in the USL.
Yeah, good play, good ball, spring in. Ochoa plays a good ball to spring Blackwood in behind. Blackwood does a good job, gets it on that right foot, kind of inverted winger type player. That final shot, the final pass probably let him down just a little bit, doesn't connect well enough on it. Hildebrand makes a good save, not too difficult for him, but I like the run, I like the aggressiveness by Sacramento.
Well, here's Kiffey on the run again and looking for Blackwood and sending it out of play. FC Cincinnati, the wind now blowing strongly, so you've seen Hildebrand's balls hang up a little bit. The wind's got seen 15 to 20 miles an hour in his direction.
Probably going to continue to pick up, the wind will, which will mean the second half for Sacramento going into the wind. FC Cincinnati going with the win is going to play a factor in this game here tonight, Rob.
Hall to Moffitt. We've played 43 minutes here at Bonnie Field. FC Cincinnati scoring on a penalty kick. Picking up a foul against Adam Moffitt. Adam Quinn taking it home, and an offside call against the Republic here. It'll be a throw for FC Cincinnati. And one name that might sound familiar to the Republic fans here, Jimmy McLaughlin. We saw him in the playoffs in 2014. Racing that with the championship game against Harrisburg City Islanders. He was there for 3 years, signed with Cincinnati a season ago with number 20 Jimmy McLaughlin, 4 goals a year ago. And he's been another key member of this FC Cincinnati squad. And he's the guy that can drop back and forth. Cincinnati's played with a couple of different formations this year, a 4-1, 4-1
there you go.
at times. And now springing forward is Travis Caesar. Cuts it back. Can he get one pass? Hildebrand just goes up too strong and too high. The whole crowd just slapped their head in unison. And Trevin Caesar, he knows he blew an opportunity there. He had Hildebrand back on his heels and just popped it up too high.
This is like we talked about it all last year. We'll continue. This is always a theme. The last 5 minutes and the first 5 minutes of the half are so important. Last 5 minutes of the first half and especially the last 5 minutes of the second half. And here's an opportunity for Sacramento to level things. A great look, a great ball that springs Trevin Caesar. We talk about him being on that last defender at all times, and he was there. The ball looks like it bounces up on him at the last second and leaning back a little bit too. We talk about guys when you have that strike on target, you got to follow the ball in the net. It looks like Trevin Caesar, maybe heavy legs the last minute of the half after running and running and running, maybe lets him down a little bit, but just a golden opportunity for Sacramento where Trevin Caesar's got a wide open look, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and just pulls the ball high. And I think, honestly, probably some heavy legs in that situation. When you have fresher legs, you're more apt to follow that ball into the back of the net.
So Republic trying to squeeze one in. It'll be 2 minutes of time added here. And Ochoa to the back of the neck of Wiedemann, and it's going to come out a card from Victor Rivas. So Ochoa hit with the first yellow card of the evening, no doubt about it. Ochoa has been very physical tonight. When you go up top of the head there, it's an easy call every single time.
Yeah, it looked like Ochoa was barking at Rivas a little bit about 5 minutes ago, which is going to earn you a little bit less of a leash than otherwise, and I think that's a good example right there.
Nice move.
It's a
from
tough tackle right there.
A foul is called, and so Sacramento will get a chance to reset here. It's about a minute and a half to play here in the first 45 from Sacramento in this preseason friendly. It is FC Cincinnati who have scored the lone goal tonight. A couple of good looks from Jeremy Hall and Adam Moffitt tonight. Great strikes in and around the box. Just not able to convert yet there. And a big missed opportunity by Trevin Caesar has been the story here early on. Evan Newton has been fairly quiet. Not a lot of opportunities from FC Cincinnati, but they do have the lead. And Ochoa is struck hard. No call from Victor Rivas. And no doubt about it, Matt Boehner got away with one, and then Jeremy Hall is whistled. And now Adam Moffitt is into the face of Victor Rivas. We have seen Victor Rivas lose control in matches here before, most recently with Los Angeles in September.
Yeah,
and players are going after him.
He's got to be careful. I mean, in that situation, I think it's a foul earlier on Ochoa. Lets it go. Definitely a foul right there on GB Fall, as it looked like it was Julius James coming in really, really hard. And all Adam Moffitt, I'm sure he's asking, is just consistency. If you're going to call these things, make it consistent. You can't let one go and call one literally 3 seconds later. It's got to be consistent, and that's all players can ask for and all players really want at the end of the day. And Rivas has to know that these situations you got to expect and you got to deliver consistency. Otherwise, you're going to get players barking in your ear all the time.
Just a reminder that all USL games will be broadcast on the YouTube channel, free and in HD. To the feet of Kiffy. Here's Moffitt. Will they get one more opportunity? Springing forward is Caesar. Caesar tumbling down, and Barry able to control. The public strikers understanding the clock is waning down, and there it goes. So the whistle blows from Victor Rivas, and after 45 minutes of play here at Bonniefield, it's FC Cincinnati on a penalty kick goal from Aiden Quinn. He scores his first preseason goal in the 2017 season. And now having a conversation in midfield with Victor Rivas is, of course, Danny Pereira trying to get this thing evened up, at least in the penalty box side of the score sheet here, as the Republic are down a goal. They'll go to the locker room and try to figure things out. Lots of substitutions likely planned for the next 45 as well. But Kevin, as we talk about how great things are, we'll talk about something even greater right after the break here. One of our favorite things that's coming up after the break.
The white lines keep time for you, like road signs. My words are true. They bring me slowly back.
I missed you.
Did you bring new ones?
You work hard for more than just you.
You went to Montana.
I did.
Working together, we'll help you save for her future geology degree. Wells Fargo.
Well, our employees are very important to us, and healthcare is very important to them.
Through all the changes in the laws and the programs, Western Health Advantage has allowed us to maintain that level of comfort for our employees and for the company.
The real advantage of Western Health Advantage is the fact that the costs were lower and the plan was flexible, so we could provide good coverage for our employees.
FC Cincinnati with the lead at the break, 1-0. After scoring on a penalty kick, Aiden Quinn, with the goal in the early get-go, and that's been the difference here in Sacramento. Well, Kevin, we've spent a lot of time together the last 4 years, and I think I know you pretty well, so I'm going to ask you, but I don't know everything about you. I don't know what one of your favorite things is, but I might have an idea.
It's a really, really good question, Rob McAllister. And I would have to say, unequivocally, without a doubt, it's beer.
Well, you're in just saying the perfect thing at the perfect time here, Kevin.
Weird.
Because we are actually in Beer Week in Sacramento. So there's not a better time. We know how much beer and soccer go together, and all of this comes together this week here in Sacramento. A fabulous week of some of the top breweries from around the state and beyond. Goes through March 12th, and there's just one place to get beer in California, and I think it's right here in Sacramento.
Since I bought the Rubicon, we've seen a renaissance of culture, food, beer, music, everything. Sacramento is really becoming more of a destination city. I mean, it's fascinating to have seen the change from our little corner in Midtown.
Perhaps the word is vibrancy now. There's a vibrancy about the place that perhaps I didn't notice quite so much when I first came here. But now it's an extremely vigorous place to be.
We live in this amazing place with great soil, great weather, and great water. You know, there aren't many places in the world like this.
This is the beer mecca of California. There are a lot of places that are making good beer throughout California, but Sacramento, we're right in the middle. You know, we're right in the middle of everything.
You know, soccer is a lot like beer in a way. It's the every person's sport, and beer is the every person's drink. You know, it brings people together, and it's exciting.
The experience and the camaraderie and the celebratory nature of beer and soccer is huge, and the beer scene and our athletic scene as a whole is moving in a really good direction.
It's a rallying cry for the community. I mean, we love locking arms and, you know, cheering for the same thing. In a lot of ways, you see that it's kind of concentrated into a team, you know, Sac Republic.
Our city has been so hungry for a team that they can really embrace and rally and call their own and watch from the beginning stages, and that they were ready for this. They were ready for the Republic. They're ready to see the Republic succeed, and they're ready to see them go to the next level.
This city is very different to the one that I first came to. I mean, I loved it from the start, but it's even more exciting to be here now.
My business is here, my family is here, We've been making beer in Sacramento for 27 years, and the next 5 years are equally as exciting with what the city of Sacramento is doing for downtown is really going to add energy to our great community.
I think we finally become kind of comfortable in our own skin, who we are, that rather than being a second-class LA or San Francisco, Portland, and Austin, let's just be Sacramento. And you know what? Let's have those guys talk about us.
Well, we're about 45 minutes away from a beer ourselves. I don't know about you, Kevin Goldthwait, but I'm pretty thirsty.
Very thirsty.
He's ready to go. Okay, well, we'll have the second half ready to go here in just a few minutes as well. FC Cincinnati with the lead, 1-0 here from Bonnie Field.
Like road signs, my words are true. They bring me slowly back.
I missed you. Did you bring new ones?
You work hard for more than just you.
You went to Montana.
I did. Working together, we'll help you save for her future geology degree. Wells Fargo.
Well, our employees are very important to us, and healthcare is very important to them.
Through all the changes in the laws and the programs, Western Health Advantage has allowed us to maintain that level of comfort for our employees and for the company.
The real advantage of Western Health Advantage is the fact that the costs were lower and the plan was flexible, so we provide good coverage for our employees.
And welcome back to Bonnie Field. Kevin Goldthwait, Rob McAllister with you. Now let's get to our halftime highlights, the first 45 minutes. I will say most teams trying to figure each other out. Both teams were trying to get after it early on. Sacramento was able to put the pressure on, really control
the hole, so to speak, as Danny Barrera strikes the corner kick here.
20 minutes of this game.
Yeah, they definitely control the possession. A lot of good build out through the back, a few chances here and there. A couple good early opportunities for Sacramento. One of them comes off a corner kick. A great ball swung in by Danny Barrera. Next great chance we saw was really Adam Moffat outside the box. Has a good strike, kind of was a side volley, half volley. Doesn't get the best, cleanest contact on it, but puts it on frame. Makes Hildenbrandt have a save. And then finally the penalty kick.
And then when you look at guys like Adam Moffat to be able to strike, that's going to be a good sign for Sacramento.
Yeah, having him outside the box, it's really important for him to be there, and he does a great job, and he's not bashful to take strikes outside the box, which is great. Sometimes a little bit too ambitious, but not afraid to hit from outside the box.
And, you know, it was the difference maker there, was that penalty in the box, set up a PK, and it was Adam Quinn who nailed it home at 1-0. That's been the difference here tonight from Bonnie Field.
Yeah.
You got to give a lot of credit to Cincinnati. I don't think they played the better 45, but they've got the goal on the board, and Sacramento doesn't.
Yeah, I got the goal. Maybe probably a little bit of a soft penalty called away from the calls away from the play, and the ball kind of comes nicely into Evan Newton, so really away from the run of the play. Fortunate for Cincy, and then Sacramento obviously with Trevin Caesar at the last minute or so, unable to get the goal, hit the target on that, basically one-on-one with Hildebrand.
All right, well, let's take a look at your halftime stats. 3 corners for Sacramento, 1 for Cincinnati. 4 saves from Mitch Hildebrand, and he had a very nice 45 minutes of play. 5 shots for Sacramento, 4 of those on goal. And meanwhile, there's just the 1 yellow card, and that was Sammy Ochoa, who picked up the caution. late in the first half of play. Adam Quinn, the lone goal here tonight from Sacramento. Another 45 minutes yet to play here from Bonnie Field, and it should be an exciting one between two of the top clubs in the USL, both looking to contend for a title in 2017. We'll have the start of the second half, I should say, from Bonnie Field in just a few moments.
Like road signs, my words are true. They bring me slowly back.
I missed you.
Did you bring new ones?
You work hard for more than just you.
You went to Montana.
I did.
Working together, we'll help you save for her future geology degree. Wells Fargo.
Well, our employees are very important to us, and healthcare is very important to them.
Through all the changes in the laws and the programs, Western Health Advantage has allowed us to maintain that level of comfort for our employees and for the company.
The real advantage of Western Health Advantage is the fact that the costs were lower and the plan was flexible, so we provide good coverage for our employees.
And welcome back to Bonnie Field alongside Kevin Goldthwait. I'm Rob McAllister. About to get ready here is that both teams are making their way back out onto the field. Let's just talk about the preseason friendly here. Obviously, it's the game that doesn't ultimately matter, but you're trying to find what pieces are working together, what guys are going to be able to produce for you, as you have 32 games this season. So you've got to not only have guys who can perform, but can perform at a high level and put up some pretty significant minutes. What did you see from the Republic in the first 45 minutes here, our first real live action in a real game here at Bonnie Field, that gives you some pretty good hope that this is a team that could really pull it together?
Yeah, I think my first 45-minute look here at Sacramento playing at Bonnie, where it's really their first team playing pretty consistently together, pretty optimistic for what the future has or this season has to hold. I think they're a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more unpredictable than they were last year, coming out of the back and building out of the back, which is really kind of, I guess, the one thing that I would wish for coming into this season is if they can be a little bit more dangerous moving forward with the additions of guys like Sammy Cho and Traven Caesar. And I tell you what, who else has looked really good is Tyler Blackwood, heading up that flank, filling in nicely on that left side, and pairing really well with James Kiffey too. That's another one of the pairings that we talk about. So right now, I think the first 45 minutes looked pretty good. However, down a goal on a penalty kick, not too worried about that. I think they had a good chance in the last minute or two with Traven Caesar. So first half looked pretty good for Sacramento. I'm pretty optimistic about what the future holds. And then Cincy looked pretty good. I think the first 20 minutes, this is something that we typically see here at Bonnie Field also. It takes teams a while to settle down here, and typically teams want to sit back and let Sacramento play out, and then try to spring a counterattack on them. Cincy probably did that for the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, then settled down nicely and had a good majority of possession probably from that 25 to 35-minute mark, and that's really where I think they got their goal. So for Cincy, I think it looks good. Their back four looks pretty solid. However, had a couple little breakdowns. Need to probably tighten things up a little bit between Austin Berry and Harrison Delbridge, as you see Traven Caesar getting in behind him a little bit more than I think Cincy fans are going to like. But both looked pretty good. The second half's going to be interesting to see what happens. Substitutions start to come into play. We got players trialists coming in and new guys getting runs, getting 20, 30 minutes here. So second half will be a lot different, but both sides look pretty solid in my opinion, Rob.
And Alec Gotch, has coached here a few times and said, it's really one of his favorite places to come down and coach. He had a young team with Vancouver Whitecaps too. A different team he's got now. He's got more of a veteran-led squad here and a team that is about winning first. He talked to me, he said, with Vancouver, it was a great opportunity. He said all of this is about development, but it was development first there. And if we could win, that's great. But it really wasn't about that. It was getting guys prepared for the next level, MLS and beyond. And he said that, it's a fresh air. It's a nice breath of fresh air to have that here where winning really is the number one thing that we can do.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see that a lot with these MLS and sides that have their Vancouver Whitecaps 2, S2, T2, LA Galaxy 2, where their motivations and desires are going to be different than the Republics of the world, the FC Cincinnati's of the world, where they don't necessarily have this developmental pool of players where the main goal and hope is to get these guys ready for MLS and spring them on to the next level in their organization. So you'll see these two clubs where I think Koch is spot on with it. Like you want to win. That's what this is all about. It's not about developing players and giving players minutes and making sure that they're growing in the projection and the ramp up to the next level is there. It's simply about winning games and performing for your city, which is what I like to see personally, and that's what Sacramento does. And I think Cincy's done a great job last year as well.
Well, it's interesting you see from Harrison Delbridge too. He comes here 2014. He says you'll never forget the day they pulled up the bus at Hughes Stadium. He said before we're getting there, and it's already packed. People are there. They're ready to enjoy soccer. He said he never experienced something like it in his professional career, and then only a few years later, here he is at Cincinnati and has 30,000 plus fans. He said it's just been a remarkable thing to see the growth of soccer in this country, and Alan Koch echoed those same sentiments. He says it's great for the game, it's great for America to be grabbing hold of such a beautiful sport and one that is really grabbing the attention of America, that the world has already known how great this is for so many years. So we are underway here at the second half. FC Cincinnati with a 1-goal lead on an Aiden Quinn penalty kick. No substitutions here, but we imagine there will be some early on here. There's a couple of guys looking to get some minutes. Moving forward is Jamie. Jamie's just a little bit back than he was. Start there, Trevin Corbin, not able to hold on. It's Jeremy Hall.
And I think you probably see these substitutions, Rob, you just mentioned, most likely coming at 60 minutes, maybe even longer. I know Coach Paul Buckle, when we talked to him today, Rob, you mentioned that he wants these guys, he wants to push his guys past the 60, 70, 80-minute mark and really start to work on them, focusing on trying to get that 90-minute fitness level up. And today's a perfect opportunity here at home at Bonnie Field. And I think FC Cincinnati is probably in a similar situation, similar boat, where these players, their fitness levels need to increase. And the only way to do that is to get games and play 90 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of substitutions do happen here today, Rob.
Well, season starts in a couple of weeks for these teams. March 26th is opening weekend off the head of Ochoa. And it bounces, get a good break for Sacramento. Now moving forward, here's Caesar putting the pressure on Hildebrand. And Caesar with a dangerous play deep into the box, and Hildebrand able to get it away.
I love that effort from strikers, though. Seeing him chase that ball down, that's what I love, seeing that work rate by your strikers.
Side there.
Turns those simple plays for a team like Cincy or a back forward Cincy, turns those simple possessions into something difficult and stressful that, over the course of the game, if you do that 3 or 4 or 5 times, it just starts to wear on you. And you know what? You're probably going to get some chances through the course of the season that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Danny Barrera not able to find Elliott Horde. And going back to Elliott Horde, played 7 games here with the Republic, was with Fresno, played in Sweden, the 3rd division, but right out at UC Davis, and then he gets opportunity with the Fresno Fuego, and that's been a little bit of a lifeline for Sacramento at times. Christian Chaney coming from Fresno as well. And Elliott Horde filled in very nicely in that right back position when Sacramento couldn't solidify really a strong candidate for that position when Edward Clemento went down, and he's filled in nicely. And now here is an opportunity to win this job outright. Here's Horde making a nice move toward the end line.
Service again.
It in.
Service again. Elliott's 2 or 3, maybe even 4 now. That final pass has to be better. His service into the box, he's finding himself in really good positions, making really good runs. It's just that service into the box if you're right back.
And look at Danny Barrera, much more physical here tonight. Quick tap from Caesar looking for Ochoa. Caesar able to control. Now it's Danny Barrera. favorite side of the park, but now he's picked up some company. Elliott Horde. And this one is sent out of play. Kenny Walker able to get a boot to it.
Yeah, well defended by Walker, and that ball looked like it's probably on the right trajectory from Elliott Horde. A little bit better than the last one, but I mean, those outside backs, you judge yourself on how many times you get yourself forward and how many balls you get in the box. And Elliott Horde's doing a really good job on that first part of the equation, but the second part of the equation, he's got to get good balls in the box. He still has 45 minutes left to do so, but I think his first 3 or 4 have been leaving something's left being desired. To be desired there with his services into the box.
Ochoa, Moffitt now back to Horde again.
There it is.
Horde, good ball in. Nobody there.
It's a great ball.
Was in the neighborhood. Now it's a wind-up, and this one's sent up play. Deflected by FC Cincinnati, so it's a corner kick. And how about James Kiffey? Probably played his best year of his professional career a season ago. Had 5 assists. Chipped in a goal in 29 appearances for the Sacramento Republic. Kevin, I thought his overall play defensively and moving forward on the offensive side was just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he's been a big reason for the success for the Republic of last year. I mean, last year their goals against average was really, really good. Elliott was a big part. Kiffey was a big part of that.
This ball served in low. Here's Hall. And Hall trying to get it back.
Great run by Jeremy Hall right there. Flashing across the face of that near post. Does a good job outside of the right boot trying to just deflect it on target. Not the best ball by Danny Barrera.
Barrera winding up, and Barrera trying to catch him off guard. Finds Blackwood at the point. Blackwood now will strike from distance. Sails on him, and the Republic can't convert on yet another corner kick.
Yeah, would have taken something special right there to beat Hildebrandt from that far out. I like the idea from Blackwood, but you got to get it on target. I preach that every year, Rob. If you're going to have a strike, first thing you need to focus on is get the ball on target, make the goalkeeper make a save.
Looking for GB. He's been pretty quiet tonight. Gets ahead to that one. He's got 2 goals in the preseason here, but he does not have a shot on goal here tonight. Defensively, you've got to give credit to Julius James and Alex Davey for 2 guys who have never taken the field together in a game. They're looking pretty good out there.
Yeah, and to tell you what, Alex Davey, we briefly talked about him in the first half, but I think his first half performance was really solid. And, you know, whatever the contract situation, whatever the situation is with him, with Chelsea or the Republic or whatever it is, but if I'm Graham Smith and Paul Buckle right now, considering the circumstances, I think as a fan, he'd be a great addition to the team.
He's got a great level of skill, too.
He looks really good. That he's onside.
Moving forward is Caesar, chasing down is Barry. Caesar is taken down, and they're going to call a whistle back here, offside first.
Which
they're calling over here first is Remus, who called a foul into the midfield, and now he's waving that off as well. And now we're going to actually have the medical staff come out and take a look at Austin Barry.
Austin Barry goes down in a heap right there. You got the initial foul, looks like it's called. Linesman calls offside. Trevin Caesar offside. Not sure if it was offside. Tackle in the box. Austin Barry's worse for the wear coming through that. Hopefully he'll be okay. A lot of action right there. A lot of stuff going on.
And Barry seems to be holding his right leg from
It's always concerning.
Point.
Always concerning when we see players surround him and, you know, waving the trainer on quickly.
So one guy we haven't really talked a whole lot about here and played an integral role for Sacramento a season ago. 9 assists, was one of the leaders in the USL, made the USL first team, is Danny Barrera. There was a lot put on Danny Barrera to become the next Rodrigo Lopez. They wanted him to do things that were really unimaginable, really the high set of standards.
High expectations.
High expectations. He slowly came along, started to play the way he has played. Tonight here is probably the most physical I've seen him in maybe a year and a half. I mean, he's been physical tonight. I mean, with new players around him, with a guy like Jeremy Hall here, the pressure seems to be off Danny Barrera a little bit. He can probably play his game a little bit more and be a more valuable piece than he was even a season ago.
Yeah, I think his confidence is back. I think after last year, he had a solid campaign in 2016. So once you start talking about building off seasons past, if you can build your confidence and continue to get better.
Okay, it looks like Austin Barry's going to walk off on his own. He's holding his right arm, it actually appears.
Yeah, it looks like his right arm, right around the wrist. But, I mean, if you can build Danny Barrera, which I think he can do this year, I think maybe the expectation and the weight and the pressure might not be on him, which might free him up to do a lot of things and a lot of things well. But Danny's got he's a guy that has the ability, has the drive and the desire, and the maturity is kind of coming and following suit as well, which I think is the next piece of the puzzle for Danny Barrera, or a guy like Danny Barrera that could really take his game to the next level.
Well, we do have a change for the Republic as Dominic Jakubek now the goalkeeper for the Sacramento Republic.
And Austin Berry very gingerly holding that right forearm, right wrist.
Yeah, that
not the best look on his face either, as he's probably going.
Yeah, he's going to go right to the bench, and we'll see who FC Cincinnati will bring in. They have not indicated which number that will be. So as of the moment, they'll play with 10, and no, they're going to send in Nicholson. So it will be Paul Nicholson to take the place of the injured Austin Berry.
Number 22, Austin Berry.
The Tower Bridge Battalion stomping their feet. Here's Danny Barrera to the right side. Elliot Horde. Elliot Horde now pokes it into the box. Looking for Davey to the head of it. Blackwood looking there. Now it's Hall. And this could be trouble. And stepping up into the lane, moving quickly, is FC Cincinnati. Dominic Jakubek way off his line and clears it out of play as Kenny Walker was making a serious threat on the ball and nearly had a wide open shot at goal.
Yeah, and that comes from Jeremy Hall playing that square ball in the final third. Always a dangerous ball to play, especially when you got a set piece like that and you got your big center halves pulling forward. Just leads to that counterattack situation, which you just saw in Sacramento. Fortunate Dom Jakubek comes out and makes a decent play, clears the ball as FC retains possession.
Cincinnati continue to move. Here's McLaughlin. McLaughlin now with his right foot will send it up high. Here's Jakubek up through the air and grabs it. He was making a nice run with Andrew Wiedemann on that back post, and Wiedemann scored 7 goals a season ago at 4 assists. He's right here from Northern California, San Ramon. It was a big-time product at Cal Berkeley. Imagine that Andrew has some family here tonight, as it's about an hour-and-a-half drive from San Ramon. I know you played at San Jose, so close to town here in Sacramento. How special was that when you were with Portland or Houston to come back and to play in your home?
Well, never played in Sacramento.
Well, I mean, near your home.
Near your home was great. And my first year was actually in San Jose, and I remember at the draft when San Jose announced their pick, the loudest shout I heard was my dad right behind me with a big whoop. So pretty special to be able to play close to home. And always fun to get back to Northern California to play, as I was away for so long.
Moving forward, here's McLaughlin again. McLaughlin gets past Davey and tripped up by Horde. And Horde thought he was actually getting a whistle. It wasn't.
Sloppy by Davey right there.
And now here's Pollock. Tyler Pollock, good at his feet.
Well done.
Has it taken away from Ochoa. Now Ochoa goes down, no whistle blown, and now finally a late whistle comes in.
It's well done.
Pollock helps him up.
I love seeing that from a striker too. Ochoa coming back and helping the back four out, winning possession for Sacramento in that situation. So good job, well done.
We'll
tell you what, Pollock needs to move the ball a little quicker there. Should feel the pressure from Ochoa coming, but Cincinnati, especially Pollock right there in that final third, move the ball quicker, get it off your foot, go get it back.
Well, reset for you. So it's Jakubek in the box now with Kiffey, James, Davey, and Horde in the back. Blackwood, Hall, Moffitt, Barrera, Caesar, Ochoa. A little push in the backcourt, and now the whistle blow. For FC Cincinnati, it's Hildebrand, Nicholson, Delbridge, Pollock, Boehner, Wiedemann, Walker, Quinn, Bone, Fall, and McLaughlin. Now here's a throw into the box.
Wide open.
To the right side, wide open. Looking for some daylight, cutting back.
Well
Wiedemann
done.
takes a strike, and it's James who's right there to thwart the attack. FC with a good possession, and now they're back at it, trying to go one more time. Wiedemann so skilled, and James uses his size and strength to slow him down.
Yeah, that's well done by FC Cincinnati. Republic caught all over the place.
And And
it's
just
a poor
bad
giveaway.
He's right.
But the Republic, all sorts out of positions right there. A good opportunity for FC to really kind of break Sacramento down and expose them. But tell you what, Julius James does a great job 1v1 defending and slowing things down for Sacramento.
Good touch there, couldn't get it forward. It's Corbin Bone. Mentally, we talk about it during the summer. The dog days of summer we always talk about when you get into August, maybe even late June, where you just feel like you're on a machine running the same. Mentally, how is it in the preseason? I mean, they always say that you should be sharp here, but you're really not in full game mode yet. So how is it different from now compared to a regular season match?
You know, I guess the easiest answer right now, I mean, in this situation, you're a lot fresher. You're a lot more bounce in your step. You got new guys in the locker room, new faces. Everyone's still kind of happy. You know, you got a happy family. Everyone's still friendly. You got a happy family, a friendly family.
And Hall just shoves GB off his feet, and GB, and now it's going to be James is going to have a conversation with Rivas. And the foul is called. Easy call there is a little hip check from Hall.
Hey, Rivas is a pretty animated referee, Rob. He's ducking and diving in there, getting in position.
It's part of the show, right, Kevin?
Yeah, but going back to what we were talking about, really mean, like, you know, everyone's still friendly. You're still happy to go in the locker room every day. It hasn't really grinded on you yet that you know, 3 or 4 months down the road, what you feel is seeing the same faces every morning, the same routine, typically same training sessions through the course of the week. So everyone's a lot fresher, a lot happier, and that changes a little bit. But that's where managers, they need to start managing and doing what they're paid to do and keeping things fresh and keeping people happy.
Here's Kenny Walker looking to the back post. Headed, still in play. Last touch by the Republic.
Yeah, well done by Kiffy, getting up there.
Kick for FC Cincinnati.
But really, that's where I think managers come into play, and personalities, or the mix of personalities that GMs and sporting directors have put into place. You know, how well those personalities mesh and what people you have in the locker room come into a big play and really affect things positively or negatively depending on who's in there. But, you know, the big difference is, simply put, everything's...
Quinn going with the win, keeps it low, looking for GB. Now Adam Moffitt's going to spray it out wide for Caesar.
Just a little bit too early from Adam Moffett. You have Caesar getting ready to break. Adam maybe take one more touch there, allow that run to develop for Caesar, and allow him to get on his bike and get a full head of steam.
Well, for Sacramento, picked up 2 wins in this preseason, a draw and a loss. The one loss coming to the San Jose Earthquakes, and it was 1-1 at one point, and then San Jose broke free for a 4-1 victory, but Ochoa scored a penalty kick on that one at Avaya Stadium. Meanwhile, for FC Cincinnati, they're looking for their first win of the preseason. Here's McLaughlin. McLaughlin cutting forward. Nice defending by Elliott Horde there to stop the attack.
It's really good one-on-one defending.
And Delbert is going to get the wind knocked out of on that one. That one's going to be rough.
He
ran back down to his knees.
Ran into the brick house, the brick house of Ochoa. House of pain.
Ochoa is a big boy. And he looks a little slimmer in that white, but remember that dark navy blue. You could tell that he's got some size to him. Good play here by McLaughlin, finding GB. GB into the middle. Looking off to his right, and it's James who will send it back to Jacobin. Republic FC will be hosting numerous camps, clinics, tournaments, and more for the Soccer Star in your home. This includes our popular Keeper Wars taking place on April 2nd. To learn more, register, visit sacrepublicfc.com. Here's Davey, the center back moving up, being held, and finally the whistle blows, and it will be McLaughlin who will be given a yellow card. Just the second on the night. The first one was handed to Ochoa, and so that's the first for FC Cincinnati, but good run there by Alex Davey.
Yeah, great driving, penetrating run by Davey. You want to see your center backs do that occasionally, be able to penetrate, move the ball into that final third area, get it off your foot, and get yourself back. But another good run, good decision.
Here's Horde trying to just poke it up toward the face of the goal. And he won't be able to Good. We'll keep you up to date with the USL all season long by visiting the USLsoccer.com for everything you need to know about the USL and the 30 teams, I think, this year. So quite an expansion for the USL, and should be an exciting season. 32 games the Republic will play. A good run here by Wiedemann. Wiedemann gets it to the face, looking for GB, and Jacobek comes out. Davey was tracking backwards.
I tell you what, right now, FC Cincinnati is definitely exposing that left side of Sacramento's back four with both James Kiffey and Julius James. There's been a few times in the last few minutes where they're getting in behind and exposing those two players. It needs to be sorted out by Sacramento really quick, because right now, I mean, if they don't, Cincinnati's gonna be able to capitalize on it. Before you know, it's gonna be 2-0, and you got an even bigger mountain to climb if you're Sacramento. So Sacramento needs to sort it out and figure things out and be a little bit tighter. And I think it starts with James Kiffey. He needs to start tighter and get yourself back in and get your shoulders right earlier.
Well, FC Cincinnati seems a little bit more of a spring in their step, too. They're being more aggressive in the midfield. You can see a perfect example of it right here. Jeremy Hall, Corbin Bone going at it.
Yes, FC Cincinnati right now is majority of the play, and they have for the last 10 minutes or so.
Here's James Kiffey. His perfect spot is just about 10 yards closer there, and he serves good balls in, not able to find a streaking Caesar that time around. Pereira finding Caesar at the heels, taps it forward, moving forward!
James Kiffey.
Sacramento locks it up, and one apiece. It's James Kiffey who started the possession. Caesar got a hold of it, and Kiffey nails it home for his first preseason goal.
That's unbelievable. That's a great little run there. Great work by James Kiffey. He starts it off with the pressure. I'm not sure who it was on FC Cincinnati. I bet Kenny Walker or Quinn, who weren't paying attention as he got Kiffey kind of coming up from the backside, wins the ball. Ball's played into Traven Caesar. Caesar, a little heavy touch. Kiffey with a great first touch, through a bunch of traffic, and able to open up his hips and slot it to the far post, beating Mitch Hildebrandt in the net. Leveling things 1-1 here in Sacramento. Great play by James Kiffey. Just as we're talking about how he needs to tuck back, get his shoulders better, defend better, goes out and scores a goal for Sacramento. So well done by Kiffey, and him taking those chances going forward pays off for Sacramento. And here he is again.
Spring again. He's moving forward. Number 15 cutting back, and he's taken down, and finally a whistle is blown. I'll be honest, Kevin. I go, who's 15 who just scored? It took me a second. I mean, you're talking, he's been wearing number 20 for 3 seasons. It always throws you for a loop. But James Kiffey, who has 2 assists and now a goal in preseason play, has just tied this thing up here in the second half of play.
It's always
105 minutes gone by.
It's always interesting too. We just mentioned too how FC Cincinnati's got the majority of the play. They got control of the ball. They're finally exposing and getting behind Sacramento's back four, and all of a sudden Sacramento, against the run of play, is able to level things similarly in the first half to what FC Cincinnati does. Levels the game at 1-1, and now we see some substitutions with Sammy Ochoa coming off, Harry Williams coming in for him, and then we have the DTS, Daniel Trickett Smith, in for Tyler Blackwood, and also Wilson Nishaw coming in for Traven Caesar. So a different look, a big a shift in the front four here for Sacramento. And we'll see how these guys can perform here for Sacramento. It's going to take them a couple minutes to get themselves situated and sorted out. But a good debut, a good home debut for both Sammy Ochoa, Traven Caesar,
and Tyler Blackwood.
And Blackwood as well.
Was very solid.
Thought
tonight.
He had some good flashes and some good moments.
Well, the attack, I mean, and the one thing we haven't really discussed much is that Harry Williams, 11 appearances, had 4 goals last year. Daniel Trickett Smith and Wilson Nishaw saw limited action. Nishaw, only 111 minutes. He had 3 goals.
4 shots, Rob. He had 4 shots, 3 goals in 111 minutes.
I mean, that's quite impressive. And then DTS, you didn't get much of him, only 199 minutes, had some injury issues, but he was electric. I mean, he was absolutely fantastic when he would come into these spurts, and you just felt there was just a new sense of skill that took to the pitch when Daniel Trickett Smith came in. Now to see these 3 youngsters all in the same field is going to be fun to watch here. We're all tied at 1 after the James Kiffey goal. Harry Williams goes down, and FC Cincinnati looking to break. But here's Jeremy Hall. Hall able to find to the corner, and it's a shot on goal to the right side, and not able to get through. Wilson Nisha.
A lot going on right there, too. Poor turnover. Jeremy Hall in a great position, grabs the ball, is able to find Wilson Nisha streaking down the right. Would like to see maybe Wilson pull that ball back. It looked like Harry Williams was flashing right in front of the face of the goal. Elects to go with that shot, trying to beat Hildebrandt on that near post, and just pushes it into the side netting, out for a goal kick. But a good little display right there, a good little run. And Nisha talking about his strike rates, and you talk about
he just ruined his percentage right there.
Yeah, just throws it off drastically with that. But I mean his strike rate, and that's one of the biggest things I always look at for strikers. What's their strike rate per 90 minutes? How many goals per 90 minutes are they scoring? And then whatever that is, he's got 3 goals in 111 minutes, 4 shots. I don't think you could ask for more for a guy coming in off the bench, a bit of a spark plug that last third of the season last year for Sacramento.
So if Trickett Smith and Harry Williams can stay healthy, that's going to be a nice young core group, 21 and 20 years of age, that could come off the bench, change the game for you, and they can play midfield. They can play a couple different positions. You've got to feel pretty good on the attack for the Republic here. Defensively is where this thing gets a little bit shady this year, because you've got your center backs who are now trialists right now. You don't have the depth there, but there's no doubt about it. You've got forwards and strikers and attacking midfielders for days.
Here's that left side again. Sacramento's left side being exploited. We got Andrew Wiedemann.
Here's Wiedemann. The mark is James.
And Kiffey kind of slowly getting back. Kiffey needs to get his shoulders right early, Rob.
Wiedemann trying to get through. Wiedemann able to poke it through. Hall able to volley it off the chest, and Moffett just clears it. And it may have been last touched by FC Cincinnati, but I don't think they're going to get it.
And what I mean by getting your shoulders right, you got a guy like James Kiffey who's playing in the back, playing left back, and looks like he's got his arms on his head, looks like he's just gassed right now. Get your shoulders right means you're getting yourself into position and you're facing the right direction. You're not facing your own goal. You're getting back with your back four, getting your shoulders right, facing and seeing the whole field and seeing what's in front of you and not worried about tracking back. So that's what I want to see from James Kiffey. Looks like he's gassed right now. So is Julius James, hand on his knees. And this is what you start to see here. We're in that 60th minute mark, close to the 70th minute right now. And this is where it really comes in. Fitness is going to be a challenge for these guys.
So Karim Dekers.
We got Alex Davey coming off and Augustine Caceres coming in for him. Interesting to see who's going to be moving back. Looks like Jeremy Hall is going to be sliding back to play next to Julius James. Augie's going to go in the middle. Augustine Caceres going in the middle, playing with Adam Moffett.
So Karim Dekers is now in for FC Cincinnati. A couple of different changes. Now, just a reminder, there's no substitution rules, which makes my job just a little bit more difficult in trying to sort out who's who and where are they going. So Augustine Caceres, and one guy that was very impressive when he came in. Didn't play as many minutes as he did in 2015 as in 2016, but I thought Augustine Caceres is a player that can really add a lot when he's playing well. And I thought overall the minutes he gave in 2016, they were high valuable minutes for Augustine Caceres in this club.
Yeah, he's a guy who came in from Precky's regime, wasn't really used in Precky's squad. And then Paul Buckle finds a use for him, and he came in, and Augustine Caceres played really, really well in that holding midfield. Well, he's playing left back and right back, and then finally found that position as like a holding midfielder. Just got the ball off his foot often.
Just a tad too far behind James Kiffey from Daniel Trickett Smith, but that's that flair we're talking about from DTS.
Yeah, very technical player Daniel Trickett Smith is. One of those guys also that likes to get the ball off his foot often and is able to make players around him better. And likes that 1-2 touch type movement. Really good off the ball. Like a good soccer brain on that kid as well.
We're tied at 1. James Kiffey from Trevin Caesar. Maybe tie this thing here in the second half of play. It's Aiden Quinn with a penalty kick goal in the first 20 minutes of play. So for Sacramento, it's Nisha, Trickett Smith up top, Williams, Caceres, Moffett, Barrera, Kiffey, James, Hall, Horde, and Jakubek in the box. Moving forward is Dekers. Dekers with his left foot, it is saved by Dominic Jakubek. A great strike by the 25-year-old from Queens, New York, but it's the Lodi native Dominic Jakubek who comes up with a stop.
Yeah, Dekers, what a great little run, little slaloming through that left side again. exploiting Sacramento's left side. Does a great job, gets it on his left foot, strikes a really nice ball, kind of off balanced. Fortunate for Sacramento, kind of right at Dom, and Dom swallows it up.
Hits the back of the head of Nishop, but now here's the Prince of Quills, Harry Williams. Harry Williams trying to use his left foot to get it around, looking for Nishop, can't get it. And Matt Boehner and company stopping
I
Curtis.
tell you what, this left side right now, for Sacramento is concerning for me. It's wide open right now.
And with Deker's speed, now you might have remembered him from United of Arizona in 2014, which now become Arizona Rising, or Phoenix Rising, I think, believe it is. And here's Pereira in the middle of the pitch where he likes to work best. Sends it to his right, a streaking Horde. Horde now moving forward into the attack. Horde looking deep into the third. Gets it back to Moffitt, and now a good possession here for Sacramento.
It's well done by Horde there. Drives that ball in the final third. Realizes that runs aren't being really developing. Pulls the ball back, keeps possession rather than force things. I like to see that from players.
Here's Caceres. And now it's to Moffitt. Moffitt able to get it back to James just for a moment. The value of Jeremy Hall. He wasn't needed as a center back, but he's a great defender. And if you need a guy to fill a hole, that's a good place to go. And Alex Davies' night is done. It's just a trialist. Probably doesn't have a lot of time underneath.
I tell you
so far, so it's a good opportunity for both players.
And that's another thing that when we talked to Paul, Rob mentioned that, you know, if there's ever an issue in that center back position tonight, it'd be a guy like Jeremy Hall to fill in most likely. And you saw, obviously, that happened here with Jeremy Hall sliding back into that position. And Jeremy's kind of one of those guys that's a bit of a utility player, can play in a few different places and fill in when needed and can do a good job in those positions, which is good. It's a good little tool or a good little asset for a manager to have when you have someone like that can fill in, especially during the course of a game with only 3 substitutions. You know, sometimes you need to make changes and risky decisions like that.
And Deker not able to keep it out of play, and so.
But having a guy like Jeremy on the pitch, a guy that's going to be on the field for the majority of the season if he's healthy and fit, can play in and fill in a different couple positions. It's just a nice little piece to have in your back pocket if you're a manager. Almost like that safety card, really, Rob, where if there's ever an issue.
Well, it's an issue with depth, too, because you talk about not only the regular season, but you've got the U.S. Open Cup as well, and a disappointing performance by the Republic, losing to Kitsap Pumas of the PDL
at home
a season ago here, and it was not the bright spot of the season, to say the least, for Sacramento. But here you go. Here's a team that's pretty thin right now. Now they have some opportunities to add some more players, and those are opportunities for players to show what they can do. But meanwhile, if you have a thin roster, there's not a whole lot you can do if you can't give some guys some rest in the regular season. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Republic play that. And as the USL, as a league whole, they have 18 teams in the Cup this year. That's a record for the league. And another substitution. It's Victor Mansoret. And so Mansoret, as you might remember from a pretty good run in the academy for Seattle, as he will check in. So Victor Mansoret, we know, shows some speed. We've seen him a couple times with the Sounders too. And he came over with Andy Craven.
Yeah, and look at the flanks now for FC Cincinnati. You got a ton of pace.
Well, here's Hort, and just pops it high. It's going to hang up in the wind for a moment. Now to get to it is Daniel Trickett-Smith. And out comes DeCurs and the rest of FC Cincinnati.
Once again, working up Sacramento's left side. FC Cincinnati's good job by James Kiffey, but this is a moment for James Kiffey. This is like a character test, really, Rob. You know, it looks like he's got some heavy legs. Looks like he's a bit gassed. It's a good ball in the box.
This one's high. A little bump from Horde. GB not able to get underneath it, and now it's Danny Barrera.
But, you know, being in these situations, that James Kiffey is a good chance to break right here, actually.
Pushing forward just a bit behind Harry Williams. Harry Williams is brought down, and a foul that goes against Tyler Pollock. And Pollock will be given a card.
I tell you what, that's pretty fortunate for Sacramento. It looks like that ball from Augie was just way too soft, not enough pace on it. Harry Williams does a good job, puts himself in a good position. But talking about James Kiffey right now, this is a character check where you really, I mean, at this point, you just got to work. You got to pull up your bootstraps right now and realize it's not going to be pretty. But you know what? These are the times where you really get your fitness too. When you're in this position, your mind starts to go a little bit, your concentration starts to go a little bit. But this is where you really need to check yourself, pull up your bootstraps, tighten up the shoes, and make sure you put in the final 10 to 15 minutes and give yourself a solid performance. After the goal you scored earlier, don't let yourself down and become complacent here.
Here's Horn, and Mansoray picks it from behind, and Horn still trying to dance with him.
No foul here.
And Horn will keep it in front and does a nice job to keep on this side of the field. It gives Republic a chance to maintain or retake possession. Another substitution coming for FC Cincinnati at the next opportunity. Jeremy Hall sliding, and GB and Hall get into it, and the whistle blows. And now here is Pac McMahon, and Andy Craven as well will check in for FC Cincinnati. So Matt Boehner comes out. McMahon comes in. 26 appearances, 1 goal for FC Cincinnati a season ago. University of Illinois. Quite a star. And then GB Fall will come out, and it will be Andy Craven. We'll reset lineups here for you just a moment. Here's Danny Barrera back to the ball, finds a streaking DTS, but it sails through his legs.
It's a tough ball. It's a tough ball across the face of the goal as DTS is full speed, and you get a ball zipped into you from Danny Barrera. Tough ball to control, but a good idea nonetheless from Danny Barrera. Does a good job, Danny does, holding that ball up back to goal. You know, for how big Danny is, he plays a lot bigger than he is.
FC Cincinnati, here's Mansoray. Mansoray pushing forward. Harry Williams, a heavy touch, not able to slow it down.
Harry going down pretty soft. Kenny Walker, no need to even grab, no need to even touch right there, allows Harry Williams to go down.
There's Danny Barrera. We're tied at 1. James Kiffey, the goal for Sacramento. Aiden Quinn for FC Cincinnati. This one will play through. There's Kiffey again. Kiffey losing a little bit more of the field this preseason so far. He's been active. There's no doubt about it. He'll likely hold on to his starting position. Good piece of play here from Moffitt to Barrera. Barrera shoved down, and now Harry Williams goes down. And that's a shove at Paul Nicholson, who came on as a substitution not too long ago. And so it'll be a free kick for Sacramento.
No reason to go in hard there if you're Paul Nicholson. Use your feet, stand him up, make him go backwards. Instead, you allow Sacramento to kind of set up a set piece here when it looked like it might have been DTS, and he was going absolutely nowhere, back to goal. So if you're Nicholson, just be patient, use your feet. You're going to win the battle if he goes backwards. If DTS goes backwards, instead just comes in way too hard.
We're in the 82nd minute here from Bonnie Field. Williams will give it a go. The rebound! Once again, it is the ardent archer, Wilson Nisha. 4 goals and 6 shots on goal. Wilson Nisha, what a find he has been. Great play by Harry Williams to move forward. Again, Nisha was there for the rebound.
Yeah, Nisha got a strike rate, unbelievable strike rate, but this starts with Paul Nicholson from SC Cincinnati. No reason to foul there. Sacramento capitalized on a softball played into Harry Williams. A little bit of fortune for a ball to deflect and ricochet out to his side. And a great strike by Harry Williams, and a very fortunate bounce straight to the fortuitous Wilson Nishaw, standing in the right position at the right time. Easy as pie, slots it home for the second goal for Sacramento tonight. Take the lead with 7-8 minutes to go. Great little play right there, but it starts once again with Paul Nicholson. No reason to foul there. Don't give Sacramento even an opportunity to get a set piece going in that situation.
It's up 10, Sacramento hold on. It was sort of an Achilles heel at times last year, which is hard to say. The team finished in first place in the West, but they would give it up late at the half and at the end of the game at times. They also scored late at times, so can they continue this momentum? They've got the energy, the crowd behind them right now. There's going to be more substitutions coming for FC Cincinnati.
And that really, Harry Williams with a wonderful strike from outside the 6-yard box at a tough angle.
Here's Kenny Walker now. Kenny Walker will switch it to the other side of the field as Andy Craven. And Craven keeps it down low. Andy Craven split with the Sounders 2 and OKC a season ago, had 3 goals in 2016. Pokes it through. Here's Dakers. Dakers over the cross of the face of the goal, and it flails away.
Oh, Dakers.
Jacobet will like to see that goal there.
Dakers, what an opportunity right there. It looks like Sacramento's back four, all of them are hailing taxi cabs with their arms in the air hoping for offsides, and that's when you know situations aren't good for your back four, where the line's all out of sort with gaps and holes in it, and Dakers, though, with a wonderful opportunity to put something on target and just mishits it, doesn't strike the ball cleanly whatsoever, and pulls it across the face of Dom Jakubek's goal. Out for a throw, not even out for a goal kick, Rob. That's how badly he pulled that thing across the face of the goal.
Here's Nishan, will let it fly to play. Quickly thrown in by Harrison Delbridge. To the right side is Paul Nicholson. This one's thrown in. Looking for Mansoray.
Number 6, Kenny Walker. Entering number 21, Christian James.
FC Cincinnati putting the pressure on here. Here's Andy Craven moving forward, settles it. It's Quinn, already has a goal tonight. Will softly send this one, and it will be away, and it's an offside call against FC Cincinnati. So Marco Dominguez just came into the match for FC Cincinnati, and now we've got 3 more substitutions on the way. Townsend will check in, and along with Stevenson. So Eric Stevenson, Casey Townsend, and Jay, the goalkeeper, also to check in.
Cincinnati FC. The 85th minute, leading the match.
And so Hildebrandt's night is done after allowing 2 goals. And that is a rarity for FC Cincinnati to get one past number 1, Mitch Hildebrandt. So I promise to keep resetting these, Kevin, and I'll tell you what, I'm failing miserably to tell you who is in the game at this point. But we will get you all squared away here in just a moment, as Dallas J comes in for Hildebrandt.
Hildebrandt being replaced by number 30, Dallas J.
Kind of got to imagine here that FC Cincinnati is going to throw everyone forward here in search of that equalizer the last few minutes here.
Alan Koch said he wanted to see an overall strong performance, and they have not won in the preseason yet. That would include a W in that list of goals to accomplish for tonight. Here's Jakers. He's been a pest for the Republicans, coming on as a substitution. Here's Dakers. Dakers falls in the box looking for a call, and he's not going to get it. Here comes the rain of boos comes from
He's got no place in the game for that, in my opinion. Needs to be cautioned for embellishment, just searching for a penalty kick.
Looking for Craven. Dakers again. Out to the right side for FC Cincinnati. And it's Townsend. No whistle. Here come the Republic. Nisha.
So it's that position where Augie's got to keep the ball.
And Delbridge and Nisha get into it just a bit, and it'll go against number 8 for the Republic.
On that break for Sacramento, you got to have Augustine Caceres. He's got to keep the ball. We got Sacramento has the lead. Couple minutes to go. Rather than search for that final ball into Wilson Nisha, find the trailing Harry Williams to his feet, slow things down a little bit, retain possession.
The excitement level is a little bit higher right now. You can feel it in the stadium. So for FC Cincinnati, once this ball is cleared, we'll set it up for you.
What a touch. What a great first touch.
And now here's Kiffey looking to break. Nisha. Here's Harry
the
Williams
ball.
in the middle. Harry Williams, a little poke up over the top. Nisha's got a little bit of daylight. Turns to his left, and it sails away. And a save by Dallas J. Gets an arm on it. And coming up the right side was Danny Barrera to try to follow.
Hey, really good combination play between Harry Williams and Wilson Nisha right there. Wilson Nisha, unfortunate, doesn't strike it as cleanly as I think he wanted to with his left foot, but does a good job going down to Dallas J's left side. Makes a good save out for a corner kick as I think Danny Barrera was streaking in looking for that rebound. So fortunate for FC Cincinnati, Dallas J pushing that ball outside of the goal mouth for a corner kick. Now we got to start thinking about time here. 90th minute, 89th minute.
Has gone by. Ford tries to keep it in the corner, won't do it, and Dakers again sprinting along the trim.
Look at the pace on this guy.
Free, Moffitt misses, and
slow him down.
Still Dakers trying to go, and just too heavy of a touch, and it's Daniel Trickett-Smith who will get it before it hits the end line and throws it off the chest of Dakers. A wonderful play by Daniel Trickett-Smith.
Just a smart play right there. Sees the ball going out, takes his touch, controls it, and sees the streaking Dakers coming right at him. Just hit it into him, hope for a goal kick or a throw kick, and ends up working out perfectly for Daniel Trickett-Smith for the goal kick. But what about that run by Dakers? The pace right there, absolutely flying, and not a great decision for Sac Republic in the corner, taking the short corner, looking to kill some time and delay things a little bit. And FC Cincinnati is able to build out of that and creates a great counterattack opportunity. And fortunate for Sacramento, Daniel Trickett-Smith's there to save the day and slow things down.
And here's something we didn't see much of from the Republic. Score a couple of goals in the second half. I mean, that's something that was a problem in 2016, and here we are. Two different ways they get it done.
Yeah, resilience by Sacramento, stay in the course.
And it'll be 3 minutes of stoppage time added to this one here.
Not a good
FC
place,
Cincinnati and Sacramento.
And not a good place to concede either right here, Rob. This is a good opportunity for FC Cincinnati to serve a good ball in the box and hope for the best, make some good runs.
And Townsend will step over it, puts a pretty good ball in, doesn't get it high enough, however. And Pollock will send it backwards. Easy to see Kippy let it go. So McMahon, Nicholson, Delbridge, Pollock, Dominguez, Townsend, Stevenson, Dakers, Mansray, Craven, and Che. In for Cincinnati, Nisha, Trickett-Smith, Williams, Caceres, Moffitt, Barrera, Horde, Hall, James, Kiffey, and Jakubek in for the Republic to close this thing out. As the temperature continues to drop, the wind still gusting 15 to 20 miles an hour. This is not a typical summer night in Sacramento. To the left side, Harry Williams working in, great set of skill here, and gets himself a corner kick.
This looked pretty good over there. Dancing with the ball, Harry Williams. Well done, earns the corner kick for Sacramento, burn off another minute of the clock. Good piece of footwork, good piece of skill there by Harry Williams, showing some technique.
Tower Bridge Battalion still up and cheering loud. Great supporter club in Cincinnati as well as a D Intersat, which means the downtown in German, and they have quite a crowd down in Cincinnati. And supporter groups, as you know, Kevin, playing in Portland, they really can make the whole atmosphere make or break it, in my opinion. I think there's a couple of great cities in this country that have pretty incredible supporter groups.
Yeah, they do a really good job creating an atmosphere, creating an environment.
There's Mansouri on the run. They're trying to equalize late here on the road. Dakers throws down Nisha, and the whistle will come.
Another silly foul by Dakers right there. That's going to kill the game pretty much. No reason to pull there, no reason to foul, but I tell you what, you see Daycares and Mansouri flying at you in the 91st, 92nd minute. That's not a good thing for Sacramento Republic fans to feel, but I tell you what, if you're FC Cincinnati fans, having those two thoroughbreds in the stables, it's got to be a pretty good feeling. Both those guys look really solid tonight.
You've got to feel pretty good about the Republic's attack here, and maybe for the opponents you don't feel so good about what they've seen here tonight, but they've got 6 or 7 guys that can really do some damage in that attacking third. And a whistle is blown. It'll be a free kick coming up for FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was Julius James or Jeremy Hall there getting in, but not a good position, not a good time in the match to concede.
It'll be Eric Stevenson.
And it looks like Wilson Nisha is going to get a caution here from probably earlier. It looked like Rivas was motioning that something happened about a minute or so ago.
I think it's over here along the touchline. And whistle blows, and out comes Jocko back to punch it away. FC Cincinnati still in business. Another opportunity. Had it in, and it's now equalized late in this one in extra time.
And here you go. You talk.
FC Cincinnati has just tied this in the final moments of this game here, and it looks like it's Tyler Pollock.
A good ball in the box, and the recycled runs off the set piece.
Or was it Harrison Delbridge? Either way, it's 2-2.
I'll tell you, it might have been Delbridge. Didn't see exactly who got the final head on it, or the final touch on it, but I think it might have been Delbridge, or maybe even Nicholson.
It was a great ball by Casey Talented.
Yeah, it's just the recycled. It's the recycled runs. You have the ball served in the box, and the runs get recycled. And it's hard for back fours and defensive units to track and remain in contact with who you're marking, and that's a perfect example of almost a free header on the 6-yard box. Equalizing things here 1-1. It's the final whistle here. It's almost the final kick of the game.
And that is it. So Aiden Quinn able to score a penalty kick early in the match. Republic scored 2 more. It is Kiffy and Nisha make it 2-1, and then within the last minute here, Harrison Delbridge gets ahead on it, and we leave this one tied at 2. So a draw here tonight in this preseason friendly. Overall, pretty fun match, though, Kevin.
Yeah,
fun, say that, right?
Fun, exciting match, and good to see FC Cincinnati out here in Sacramento, kind of a battle for 2 of the more successful clubs in the last few years in the USL. So good to see them out here visiting the great city of Sacramento. Sacramento let themselves down in the last few minutes, but I tell you what, FC Cincinnati did a really good job staying in the match, battling, fighting, scrapping tooth and nail, end up getting the equalizer in the last minute for themselves for the 2-2 draw.
And so good effort, a lot of substitution, a lot of players able to get on the field tonight. We'll have your highlights and final thoughts coming up right after this.
Visit Sacramento Republic.
Like road signs, my words are true. They bring me slowly back.
I missed you.
Did you bring new ones?
You work hard for more than just you.
You went to Montana.
I did. Working together, we'll help you save for her future geology degree. Wells Fargo.
Well, our employees are very important to us, and healthcare is very important to them.
through all the changes in the laws and the programs, Western Health Advantage has allowed us to maintain that level of comfort for our employees and for the company.
The real advantage of Western Health Advantage is the fact that the costs were lower and the plan was flexible, so we could provide good coverage for our employees.
Our final from Bonnie Field in Sacramento, 2-2. FC Cincinnati able to get one late there. And overall, pretty exciting game, though. You can't fault the effort. Both teams not quitting till the final moments there. And let's take a look at your highlights in this one. Early on, it was Sacramento who owned possession, but a foul in the box against Adam Moffitt gave Aiden Quinn the opportunity to put one in the back of the net.
Yeah, it was a tough penalty kick to concede early in the match. Sacramento had the majority of the play, but penalty kick well taken, well slotted, and Evan Newton's left side followed up with a great little combination play, great effort single by James Kiffey, getting himself involved defensively, wins the ball, finds himself in the box with the ball at his foot, slots it home to the right side. Great little finish by Kiffey.
And then just moments later, it was Wilson Nishaw who has been dubbed the ardent archer for his signature move right after his goal scores. Comes up on the rebound, and it was Harry Williams who started it, but Wilson Nishaw once again. But here late, it was FC Cincinnati and a familiar face in Harrison Delbridge who became the hero.
Yeah, going to leave a sour taste in Sacramento fans' mouth as it's just in the 90-plus minute, great ball, served in the box, recycled runs. Harrison Delbridge makes himself big, gets himself on the end of it, equalizes thing 2-2.
And Kevin, preseason match, quick thoughts, FC Cincinnati. What did you think they accomplished here tonight? And they wanted a solid performance for 90-plus minutes. I think they did for most of it well.
You scrape out a result, get a point on the road. You know, this is obviously points aren't on the line here, but I think that's something that you're going to look at tomorrow and tonight and feel pretty good about yourselves for fighting, staying in the match, and getting that goal in extra time to equalize things.
And for Sacramento, what do you take away positive?
Positive would be, I think, their play up front looked pretty good. Both shifts, both sides of the group. The first group with Caesar and Ochoa, and the next group with your DTS, your Harry Williams, your Wilson Nishaw's coming in. I think both sides combined well together, or both groups combined well together. So I think good things to take away. Sacramento needs to be better in those final minutes, though. End of the story for me.
All right, well, we had a good one here. And a draw 2-2 between FC Cincinnati and Sacramento. I want to thank our entire crew, our executive producer Mike Freeman. For Kevin Goldthwait, I'm Rob McAllister. Have a great night, and we'll see you in just a couple of weeks right back here at Bonnie Field on April 1st. So long, everybody.